Son, the one and only Nomad.
Yo, Super Nomaniacs, welcome to the show. This is some extra sauce in here at the Super Nomaniac Lounge. I got my guy over there, my guy Trips, up in here from Sports Chicago Style. We're waiting on this the Canadian, man. He's late as usual. I don't see nobody in the chat yet, so I don't have any shout-outs to give. People are filing in. I'm looking at them, and, you know, when they start chatting, they start chatting. But, yeah, man, what a long – it seems like it's been a long time since Sunday to me. And to me, I don't know about you, Trish, but it seems like it's been a long time. I've had time to think about some of the stuff that I want to say tonight. We're gonna cover quite a bit tonight because it's several things, several key topics that we need to talk about. Some of them we've been covering previously, but some of the stuff I'm super glad to hear about. There's some breaking news of sorts to talk about, but we'll get into that soon. It's just I know how negative the fan base can be in times like this. So, like, for me, it's easy for me to just not even watch podcasts, not be listening to what the reporters are saying. I'm pretty good at just being, you know, away from it, you know, until it's time for us to start talking, which I'm glad we saved it into this show, man. We was doing Superflex yesterday, Trips, when you popped in there, and I was so tempted to start talking about some of the stuff because you know how the Nomaniacs are, man. Some people come in there, they don't care if it's the fantasy show. They want to talk about the Bears. And so I was half tempted to turn it all the way into a Bears podcast, but I'm glad I didn't, man. That's his show, and he does it the way he wants to do it. But, again, we're waiting on the Canucks to pop in. When he pops in, we'll chop it up as usual. But let's be human for a second, Trips. And I see Minister Charles up in there. What it is, dog. What's happening? What's been going on in life, man? How's life treating you?
It's cool. It's you know, it's eggnog season. So for those that partake and celebrate with the straight eggnog, the spike eggnog, or maybe make the eggnog ice cream or eggnog bread or eggnog cookies. However you enjoy it. Maybe you pour it on your partner and lick it off. 'Tis the season, baby. I don't know. I don't care. It's all love. But big up, yeah. What up, Nomad? What up, the dude? He's out there hanging. Minister, right on. All the Super Nomaniacs now and later, a big hello. And now you got is dude back yet? Because I got a question.
He's on mute. I think he's still on the phone.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, there was a lot to discuss about this past debacle in the Bay, the shit show in San Francisco, the beatdown in the Bay. But I think, you know, since we're just chopping it up, you know, getting going, you know, obviously there was lack, you know, the quarterback, Caleb. And let me start with this. As much as Caleb has been sacked, big up to that kid, because can't question his toughness, because he's out there battling like a gladiator, like a warrior. I give him that. All right. So now, the quarterback is missing passes. The running backs, you know, miss holes, miss blocks. The offensive line have missed pass blocks, have missed run blocks, and didn't open up the lanes. The defense didn't go to the right gaps, fill the right zones. They missed tackles. They didn't support each other with good play calling offensively and or defensively. There was no fire, no desire, no passion, no emotion, no life. And, you know, it was messed up to be on Thomas Brown's inaugural game, but that's not on him. You get all these players out here that is like, yeah, we got rid of Flus. Now let's go let our things hang and swing and all that. And then they go out there and they do that on the field and just let San Fran be like, give me your money, bitches. But my question, and then I'll go back to you, is not to get too deep into any conversation, is on these pregame entry camera things by the locker room, runway, red carpet. What the fuck do these kids be wearing? And by these kids, I mean players. I mean, Nomad, you with the socks with the horizontal or vertical or whatever the fuck. I don't know. I'm no fashionista. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know, it could be some plain white ass tube socks, pull them motherfuckers up, play ball. I don't give a shit. But my question is like Jalen Johnson. We know he has some issues, and big up to him for getting help with his issues with the whole sexual thing. But if y'all take a look at what Jalen wore on the red carpet, locker room entry, whatever the fuck that thing is, he looked like he just came from a party, a Diddy party.
Damn.
He had on these white pants that had like 4 pockets up front, you know, like instead of back pockets and front pockets, they had front pockets and the back pockets on top of the front pockets where you keep your condoms or Jimmy hats, as some would say. You keep your phone, you know, in another pocket. And you keep like your ID, you know, maybe a little cash or something in another pocket. And in another pocket, you know, you keep your weed in, and you know, whatever that may be. You know, I ain't in that. I'm not judging. You know what I'm saying? Puff, puff, pass. You know, I smell it, let me inhale it. But he had on these boots that look like it was Star Wars, Star Trek, some future star fucking place. I don't know, the moon boot kind of things, all white. But then the coup de grace, if you will, oui, como allez-vous, was his jacket it was like a jacket, but it didn't have a place like, you know, to cover up like your chest and your belly. It was just like an open kind of thing. And it was made like that, and he was all shiny and glistening. And it was like, I think he might have fell off the wagon dressed like that. I don't know. Go ahead and Google what he was wearing. And I think he fell off the wagon. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead, no man.
I might have to, man. I don't remember if we even looked at the you know, that's usually something we do during the live watch. We look and see how they coming into the building, into the stadium, whatever they wearing. And you know what's funny about that? What's funny about that. I can't be mad at them, man, because I know, you know, fashion designers play a big role in what those guys wear. And these fashion designers are you know, peeling off nice wads of money. You know what I mean? You put this on, you know, going into the stadium and the cameras are looking at you. And when people ask you, you know, you make sure you let them know, you know, you wearing John St. Laurent, whatever the hell the next designer is, you know what I mean? You can't be mad at them though, Trip, because they.
Yeah, I understand, but it's like, all right, you want to dress like that, cool. I'm not gonna say a goddamn word about it if you go out and act like you a baller on the field, like you a team leader, that you are, you know, felt snubbed because you're not in a Pro Bowl or All Pro, whatever the fuck. You know, when you're not putting your nose.
This is what he wore?
Excuse me?
This is what he wore?
Nah, that was a different week. Keep going, you'll find it eventually.
He was killing that shit.
Yeah, okay. Just look for the one with his belly out and look like he wearing moon boots.
Who did that? You Nick, kids. In here, kid.
So, but it's like, if you're gonna dress like, you know, however you want to do it, you want to do the model thing, you got to play fucking football, because the football is what's allowing the modeling to take place. The football is what's allowing the designers to say, hey, wear my shit. It's like Joe Burrow, he had on that shit, he had on the suit. It looked like the carpet, like from the movie theaters back in the day, you know, the multiplexes, or like the casino carpet.
You know, I had a feeling you was gonna try to connect the dress to the play. And I don't know if there's anything scientifically. I seen Kyler dressed like a damn pimp / cross dresser a couple of times coming into the show.
No, when they was in overseas in London, and Kyler was dressed like a Viking or whatever the fuck. It was like, that's weird as fuck. But I don't give a shit, because he was balling. Exactly. But this past Sunday in San Francisco, Jalen no. He did not do that on the field. No. So no, you do not get to go, well, I'm still gonna bling and be all drippy and rizzy or whatever the fuck they be doing out there. But no, if you're gonna play like that on the field, you wear a goddamn potato sack and shut the fuck up. What's going on, Kedz? How you doing, brother?
You hear this guy, man? He's trying to connect to the dress, the pregame dress, to the way they playing on the field. I don't know if I can connect them dots for you though, Trips. I don't think I can do that. I don't know.
No, I'm saying they don't deserve to. They don't deserve to be dressing like that if they gonna play like that.
Like, can somebody explain what even kind of car is this to me? Like, what the hell is this?
What
we talking about?
Just give me a second. I gotta share this with you because this is Jalen Johnson.
You talking about Jalen Carr?
Oh, what's
Jalen's
that?
That's just
Switchblade.
That's some play shit. That's that spider.
Spider. There you go.
That's that spider. I want one of these just to play around in.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like I can't do the motorcycle trips and kids. I ain't doing that shit. I gotta have at least 3 wheels, man. Give me 3 wheels. Give me one more wheel. I ain't fucking around with no motorcycle.
I mean, but obviously, dude wants to be like, look at me, look at how cool I am. Look at all the cool shit I get. Look at how fly I am. But it's like, all right, play ball. You play ball, it's like, all right, yeah, look at him, yeah, Jalen, no. But you don't play ball, it's like, look, don't look at this motherfucker. He don't deserve this raggedy ass playing. I don't want to stick my nose because I ain't got no pride. I ain't trying to play no defense out here because we done all checked out. We don't know why. Oh, fuck you.
I don't know that I seen some abhorrent shit in that all 22. And I don't know that I can blame Jalen for a whole.
Well, no, it's not blaming Jalen for the whole thing. It's just blaming Jalen for what Jalen's responsibilities were, and them not being up to par, up to task. And that goes to a man because everybody made their own individual mistakes. Commit. It's like, come on, bro. You don't drop that 2-point conversion like that, just like that, really? DJ, it's third down. You not gonna help your rookie quarterback out, dog? Come on, really, baby boy. Keenan, why the fuck are you running that route? What's really good? Oh my God. Third at 49, that motherfucker in the middle looked like Tarzan, play like Jane. Edmonds.
It was
it's like, what are we doing out there, baby boy? What are you really getting paid for?
It was
tell him how we feel.
It was
and then it's like, what are we, Braxton Jones? For the last 2 seasons, you've been talking about setting the goddamn anchor. Show me. Don't talk to me. Show me. You ain't showing me shit. Yeah, and then it's like,
anchor a paddle boat.
Hold on. See, that's the thing. There's so much to go around. Hey, Coach Washington, what the fuck do you get paid for? Coach Washington, stay with me now. Why don't we call some plays that cover up those zones and maybe guard what's that motherfucker's name? Kittle, looking like the Beach Boys, the blonde boys, the boys with the long stringy hair, the white boys. Yeah, out there wide open all goddamn day, just eating. And it's like, why are we not putting these guys in a position to win? And Thomas Brown, I know it's your first game. It's a whole lot of shit coming at you. It's like you head coach, you OC. I'm up in the booth. I'm down on the field. And it's like, I don't know what's happening, but let's call some easier plays, dog. Let's get a rhythm going. I understand offensive line. I know they tripping. I see them tripping. But let's get a little something going because this is not indicative of the fan base and the passion that we have for this goddamn franchise, and these motherfuckers are not deserving it. We love them and they're not deserving our love, and it's pissing me off.
I'm glad that I waited to really have a take on this, man, because I know it was going to be a lot of complaining. It was just not good, man. It was just not good. What we had out there was a whole bunch of it's some stuff we need to talk about for sure. I'm gonna just stay right here on the surface of it right now until we dig all the way the fuck into it, get all the way down deep into the pie. We're gonna get into there, man. And Kedz, you haven't had a chance to speak, but we started off talking about eggnog, and that's a whole other thing, dude, because I love eggnog, but I can't fucking drink it. until I find me some non-lactose eggnog, Minister Charles.
Man, just throw some rum in it. You'll be great.
And okay, I'll be the greatest on the goddamn toilet the next day.
That's the next day. But during the day, during the day of, it's awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like, eggnog's good for me. Me and my moms, that was like the first time moms would be like, yo, you can drink. You know, spike that baby up with some good old Ray and Nephew's Jamaican rum. That's an overproof, boy.
What now?
Saying
What Jamaican rum?
Ray and Nephew's.
You said Red Nephews?
Ray, W-R-A-Y, and Nephews. I'm actually related to the Ray family.
You ever heard of that? I never heard.
Ray, like, if I'm just thinking if I have any here. Ray and Nephews is like it's the original Jamaican rum, man. It's overproof. It's also what they call screech. If you ever go out Eastern Canada, you get screeched in Eastern Canada, but it has to do with the rum trade and Jamaica sending rum by way of the water all the way out to Newfoundland, etc. Anyways,
is it let me ask you a question. Is it like black Jamaican, like owned by black Jamaicans, or like, because we got this whiskey here, and story goes, and I bet you somebody in here knows exactly what I'm talking about. Got this whiskey called, I think it's a bourbon actually, called Uncle Nearest. So basically what I've heard, I don't know it to be true, but the Jack Daniels recipe is an offshoot of Uncle Nearest. And so if you've ever tasted Jack Daniels and you go taste Uncle Nearest, man, Uncle Nearest, that stuff will make Jack Daniels taste like a glass of shoe polish is what it make it taste like. I mean, Uncle Nearest, you got to try that. If you can find that somewhere, I know you can get to it, Trips, but if you can find that somewhere in Canada, I'm telling you, try that shit, dude. That Uncle Nearest is shit.
Do not try Ray Nephew's rum. It is a straight up punch in the face, and it's like the reason why craziness goes on in Jamaica for the most part. It is the rawest rum you can get. We use it for home remedies and stuff. You know what I mean? It's like drinking absinthe or fucking
like old granddad,
like rubbing alcohol, bro. Like that's what it tastes like when you're drinking it. But yo, you get smashed up.
That old granddad trip, you know, when motherfucker gets sick, they go right to that old granddad, boy.
But is that the rum that the old the shamans and the mommies and poppies of the elders in the tribe, they spit on the chickens before they sacrifice them? Then they spit the fire and make it go whoosh. Is that same rum?
Man,
he talking about some Papa Shango shit.
Sometimes up in the hills, you never know what's popping, man. You know what I mean?
See,
I'm just saying, Obiaman, them they exist.
I've been in the mountains of Jamaica, man, in the grill, and I know what's popping up there.
Mm-hmm.
And they did a whole ritual around me, man, just because I wasn't scared to come and get away from the strip in Jamaica and go see the people of Jamaica and where they are. Met Maroons and shit up there, and you know it was like, it is a spiritual experience, man, for you. If you've never been to Jamaica, and if you've been to Jamaica and you didn't have the sacks to go to the mountain. I'm not saying that anybody that went there should just randomly, all right, I'm gonna go take a trip to the mountains and visit some people. You better get blessed and get invited to come up there. You don't just want to be hauling off.
And you will get macheted.
Yeah, they will take your things. Yeah, the items you came
I just got blessed.
You might not leave with those same items.
I got blessed, kids, and that's the best way to do it. It's like going to, you know, I have some fancy thoughts about visiting a Native American reservation, and I know a couple of Native American people that I spoke that to, and the first thing out of both of their mouths is just like, don't just go, don't just feel like you can just go in there. No, you get blessed and you get invited, right? Don't just haul off just because I can just think it's gonna be all good. And that's the same thing that happened in Jamaica. You know what I mean? It was just like, hey man, we would love to have you up. Come on up.
Well, I I'm just surprised at how many times people go to other places and just walk the fuck around like they're invincible. And it's like you go to your own city, it's like, yeah, I'm not walking over there. I'm not walking over there. And it's like, well, wherever the fuck you go, it's gonna have those places where no, you're not walking over there.
Some people ain't got no fucking sense, Trip. That's
right. And it's like I got my tourist, I got my flip flops on and my straw hat and shit, sunglasses, drinking that little coconut drink, talking about what the fuck y'all doing over here? And it's like we robbing you, tourists. That's what we doing.
Yep, sometimes it's like that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's like that. You got to be wily out there in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some numbskulls out there that can. Some motherfuckers go places and just like, I'm an American. I can do what I want to do and just be like, I've seen that shit so many times, man. It's just like, motherfucker, I'm just going to watch you go over here and get your ass slaughtered. You know what I mean? I've literally watched motherfuckers just get broke down. Like right here in Chicago. Right here in Chicago, motherfuckers just be running around, just eyes in the air and not on the ground. Like, you better be looking around, keep them goddamn earbuds out your ear and all that shit. You know what I mean? Just, people go places and just don't respect the environment or the danger that they may be in, and just straight off, whether it be somebody looking for some dope or something. You know what I mean? It'd be motherfuckers go on vacation, be on a mission, right? Especially like that's the worst thing to do. You got some kind of drug shit going on or something like that, and you go to the island and you just thirsty for it, and you might get into some shady ass shit. That shit might get dicey on your ass real quick. I wouldn't just be
so freaking fast. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of stuff. Oh, you just involved yourself into a world that you don't have any understanding of. I mean, I would suggest you manage your vices while you're on those types of, in those situations, man, because you can get caught up on some dumb shit.
Stick to the Chiba. That's readily available right there in front of you. Stick to the Chiba.
Let him ask.
That's what you need. Do what you got to do. But yeah, man. As per the Bears, sucky game. Like I'm so the minutia of it. It was just ugliness from front to back. There's no way I'm watching all 22 of that. That's not happening. I'm just letting y'all know this. You know what I'm saying? There's definitely no review of that whatever went down last week, because nobody came to play except for the San Francisco 49ers. And what did we learn this week? We learned that Kyle Shanahan is a really good coach. That's what we learned.
Hey, kids, you know what was a goddamn shame watching that all 22? What really sticks out to me? And, it was some stuff on defense. Of course, I'm a defensive guy. I'm going to look at that shit first. But goddamn Coleman Shelton. That motherfucker just got patty caked and just got his ass. He got the shit spanked out of him, man. Dude, that shit was fucking embarrassing. Watching Coleman Shelton play. I mean, embarrassing, dog. It was 2 or 3 plays in particular, man. It was just like, dude, are you actually an NFL player? Bad. It was rough to look at. It was just rough, man. If I monetized this show, so we ain't gonna look at none of that. Thank God. I don't know if anybody really wants to, because we'll just complain for the next 2 hours, man. It's just that bad. But yeah, Coleman
spirits, bro. Like I have some cake downstairs I'm thinking about. Maybe I'll go get some cake sooner or later. This whole Bears thing is just it's not fun right now. It's terrible. Ugly.
Him and Braxton Jones, boy, that shit was horrible, man. It was just like, dude, those are not, I don't even know, man. Braxton Jones sometimes plays like he could be a swing tackle, and then sometimes he plays like he shouldn't even be third string. Like, it can get but Coleman Shelton was worse. It was really bad, man. It was really bad. But I'm not here to complain. Let's talk about something else, man, because I don't want to get this will take too goddamn long. But let's talk about this. We can take one guy. Let me switch up the viewpoint here for us. We can take one guy off the coaching carousel right now. And this motherfucker. And I'm so glad. Not because I don't think Bill Belichick is a good coach. He's a great coach.
Oh, he did sign?
Signed with North Carolina. They signed him up, brand new head coach in North Carolina. Let's just start here, man, because the most obvious thing is this. You're talking about a soon-to-be Hall of Fame NFL head coach. Probably people say he's the best that ever did it, all that kind of thing, and he's a sure shot NFL Hall of Famer as a coach. In college, as an almost 80-year-old man, how much sense does this make to you guys? Start with you, kids. Does this even make sense to you? Because it's like a big ass fucking toe. Sticks out, man. It just sticks out.
Well, I gotta laugh first. All right, so here's why it makes a lot of sense to me. So my guy Billy Belichick, six-time champ. He's a serious guy. He's got a 23-year-old girlfriend, and 23-year-olds go to college. So it's a perfect place for him to be if he has any trouble with the girlfriend.
Or not.
Or not. Or the worst place for him to be if he wants to catch some sort of predatory lawsuit.
She's gonna get poked.
They legal, baby. There's grass on the field. Play ball, baby.
That's kind of what I'm saying. It's college. It's college.
Hey now.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's why Bill Belichick. Yeah, I think that works.
The first linebacker that shows up at his house when he has a team meal. I'm gonna just stop right there, Trent. Don't you do nothing. Don't you say nothing crazy, man. There's some extra sauce, but we got to keep it.
Well, but we know that he can relate to that generation. You know, he knows how to communicate with people that age.
Yeah, shake bags of money at him.
You know, well that and I'm sure. If there's one thing that we all know about women, they like to go do a lot of this.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's with that little 24-year-old kids. Get it right, 24. Don't be short.
I'm sorry.
You know what I'm saying? Make it sound all dirty.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's still dirty.
Yeah, it is.
If she going, man.
Younger than my sister.
Man, she going,
right?
You can't hate on the man,
right? But he's listening to what she's talking about. The lingo, all the new slang that the kids are coming up with. So
it was all his plan. He bagged a young girl so he can go and be a college coach and become a good recruit. It was all part of the Bill Belichick plan, the Patriot way.
That's why he is like considered the go-to coaches, arguably, because he has a plan. Now, this master plan included, banging little tight bodies, so it's the perks of the job or the things he has to do for his plan, whichever.
You know.
But he's down there.
Girl, like, so babe, I have Riz now, right?
There you go.
But he just got to know she gonna get poached. That's just
but I don't think he really does. He really care? I mean,
no, he just put himself into the sea of hers. So there's a whole bunch of her floating all over the campus.
And there's all kind of daddy issues going on down there. So he's prime target. But now
also got tons of money.
Well, but I was going to bring up that joining him, leaving VSIN host M. Lombardi is leaving to join Bill Belichick at the University of North Carolina. Mike Lombardi will serve as football's program's GM. So whoever Mike Lombardi is, that's going to be
Mike Lombardi's a loser.
I won't even argue with that for a second. I won't. I'm pretty sure he's coached a little bit in the NFL. I'll also say he definitely is an analyst of some kind. He's
a GM wannabe, man.
I know. I think he was a GM.
Yeah, that's why I called him a loser.
Okay, no, you're not wrong, bro. I'm not gonna be here sticking up for Mike Lombardi. Mike Lombardi was the guy who said he wouldn't buy Mitch Trubisky off the discount rack at Burlington Coat Factory.
Oh damn!
Damn, that's cold blooded.
Ouch!
It
Burlington is
was a
already
good.
cheap. That's why it makes it
Oh,
funny.
wait a minute. I think it was at Ross. He didn't say Burlington. He said Ross.
Yeah, Burlington, Ross, whatever the
Carry
fuck,
me
same thing.
softly in his arms.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
that's
That's
what
damn.
he said. It's funny, and apparently he was kind of right when he said it.
So what do y'all think now? All right, let's kind of U-turn this thing back around a little bit and bring it to the Bears' perspective. Now, honestly, Kedz and Trips, your impressions on when you heard that he might be in consideration. There's a lot of people out there that said that he was in strong consideration to take over the Bears, not only head coaching position, but kind of run the whole football operation. There's a lot of people that said that and was really banging the table, standing up on that motherfucker for Bill Belichick. What's your natural instincts about Bill Belichick? I kind of have a sense where you're going to go, Kedz, but can't remember exactly what Tripp said.
No, I think what's really needed in Chicago is like Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think he would be the best. I think he'd be the best head coach because he sort of just come in and Stone Cold Stunner George McCaskey. You know what I'm saying? He cuss him out a little bit.
I so badly wanted to put that video of Belichick walking into the Lions Stadium with the Stone Cold music. I wanted to put that in here so bad, but I knew that would get us flagged.
see, like that's exactly to me kind of who Bill Belichick would represent if he actually did come into House Hall. He would sort of come in. He wouldn't take any flack and no guff from any of these guys. You guys clearly don't know what you're doing. You hired me. I know what I'm doing. I've done this before. Have any of you guys done this before? No, shut the, you know what I mean? Shut the fuck up. None of you guys done this before. I've done this before.
So you're saying he's got NFL street cred, in other words.
Again, versus the people at Hallis Hall. Like, so just a simple, like, just looking at what's going on now. Like, for instance, so Ryan Poles comes in. He's not really coming in with street cred. He's trying to build, he's building what he's trying to do for the first time underneath the purview of the McCaskies. That's so much. It's not the same as Bill Belichick coming in and saying, yo, I've done this. I'm Bill Belichick. I've done this multiple times. You guys have done nothing. You can't say nothing to me except for what's my budget and let me point me in the right direction to get this thing done. Right, like that's for these reasons. Bill Belichick's a great idea for the factor that he's getting a little bit long in the proverbial tooth. Not so good, Ski. We might want to look someplace a little bit younger, but I think he'd be like if there's a Stone Cold Steve Austin. If we need Stone Cold Steve Austin, he's kind of like Stone Cold Steve Austin post-retirement with both knees in braces. You know what I mean?
That had to be kind of the worst take you ever had as a member of the Nomad Network.
Really didn't like that one?
Trips. All right. This is what I hear.
God, that's Bill Belichick walking down Soldier Field. My God.
See?
Word on the street is that he's teeing this up for his son. He's getting this all in order for his kid, who is, I can't remember the dude's name. Steve Belichick. So he's teeing this up for his kid, some legacy shit. That's what I'm hearing on the streets, man. So what's your take on first of all, what's your take on his, reported possible being the next Bears head coach?
Yeah, I understand his resume and his all of that good shit. But he's 72 years old. Come on now. Let's stop trying to chase, rehash, and bring back the past. let's find the young mind that's gonna be more generational for years to come. Belichick is, one, sweep left away from, needing a new goddamn hip. Or, one, night with some rum or some tequila with his, 24-year-old little young thing from needing a new hip. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't want him running my organization. I get it, but let's identify somebody. There is nobody else that's gonna have the resume, that's gonna have the rings. I get it. I understand that. But we got to identify, we got to change the turn the page. No. But there was a second part of that question.
And that was damn, what was the second part of that question? What were we talking about, man? Kedz got me off, man. Kedz took me down stone cold.
How you gonna blame me? I said you asked me about
about his son.
Down Stone Cold Steve Austin Boulevard, man. How I'm gonna come back?
Look at that! Look at that Stone Cold face. That face right there could totally stun you, bro. You can stun you.
And that's his the legacy aspect, his son. That's what these gentlemen do. These nice older gentlemen do. They look out for their legacies. They lineage. And they put themselves in a position that it's like, all right, I'm gonna take this job right here, and then y'all gonna hire my son ahead of everybody else. He ain't got to interview or nothing because y'all hired me, and in turn, y'all getting him. So yeah. And then it's like you look at LeBron and Bronny, it's like, why the fuck is Bronny in the goddamn NBA? He don't deserve that position. But it's like, well, LeBron, you know what I mean? And so it's just parents putting their children in a position to be successful. And you can't be mad at it. You want to do it too. Is it fair? Fuck no. Nepotism never is. But it's like, as the parent, it's like, hey, fuck you, that's my kid. So I'm gonna keep it moving. So North Carolina, I don't really follow them in football. It's going to take a year, NIL money now, so a season to be able to really turn over the roster and start it looking like he wants to look it and start teaching it. And then it takes time. And it's like, how much time does Belichick have? But his son, however, can continue the legacy because I guess it's just automatically handed down and all the talent and the skill is just in your kid. So yeah, it tracks.
You ever seen Trips? You ever seen one of those little videos where the little wildebeest fawn just straggles off into the lion's den, and the lions don't even destroy the thing? They just like, this thing don't know no better. It's just like, it's just here. We ain't gonna eat it up, man. We hungry, but we ain't gonna. This thing don't know no better. Nobody better not touch it. Nobody better not touch it. And some lioness protects the damn thing. And, as long as she can, to something just destroys it. That's what this seems like. It's like, he, this is like, if there was one NFL head coach where I could have said, I can't imagine in any way, shape, or form can turn into a college coach, it would be this guy right here on the screen. Right here. It's just like, he doesn't fit. That doesn't make sense to me. It's a crazy hire. But it's a whole bunch of people that's gonna feel like, hey, this dude's gonna make it work. But what it appears to me is that he's seen the writing on the wall and he's timed out in the NFL. And this is probably the next best thing he can do is tee his son up and do a legacy thing. And this is Bill Belichick's life now. He's got to go in, Jerron's living room with his mother and father, if he's there, and convince them that this is the best place for him to go. Man, like, dude, what the fuck? How you gonna compete with Deion Sanders walking in the living room? How you gonna do that? How you gonna do that? I don't know how this is gonna work, but I'm glad he's not the Bears head coach, not because I don't think he's a good coach, because I just believe this era is over.
Well, but now speaking of eras being over and new eras beginning, you look at Belichick going backwards to college. And you mentioned Deion in college, looking forward probably to that Mike McCarthy vacancy when it, because that's coming pretty soon. And prime time, ready to get back to Dallas in prime time. I see it coming.
They need a quarterback potentially too. Maybe
that's a whole ass conversation, Trip. But
Oh, damn. He got a son that's a quarterback too. But even though the Giants are looking at probably taking him.
All right. So
He
any
ain't gonna
more?
let that go down.
You saying that Prime Time is gonna get Jerry Jones to trade for Shador with the Giants and take that, and then he would coach his own son in under the star of Dallas and Arlington, Texas? Is that what you're
This is
telling
what I'm
us?
saying. That's what I'm saying live and direct here on Some Extra Sauce. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, damn, the sauce is splattered all over. It's all in our face. Oh, stop it, kids.
One more time, put it on the record. Say it out your mouth. Don't let Trip say it for you. What you say?
All right. I'm saying that Shador Sanders to Dallas Cowboys. I'm also saying Prime Time, the new coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
Wait for it.
Wow. That's not necessarily going to work because they're going to have to either make a choice to keep Mike McCarthy for a year or get some other head coach, and that's going to take another 2-3 years to play out. I don't see it. Either Deion's going to bolt from Colorado, and he's had a great recruiting class, and he's in the transfer portal, and I'm hearing good things so far.
Did you hear what I just said?
Go ahead, do it again.
I'm just out here. It sound good, doesn't it? It sounds real good. Deion Sanders, the coach, the head coach, the new head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, with his son Shador Sanders as QB, drafted 2025. What it do? What do you think? What do y'all
Get
think?
the wax out your ears, Nomad. That's what the motherfucker said.
That's what I'm saying.
So what does he do with that recruiting class? That means it's a whole bunch.
What do the fine people at Colorado do with their recruiting class?
That's not good business, man.
But what did Jackson State? He left Jackson State. He ain't stay there forever. You know,
this is probably Deion's dream job. Like we may not know, but this is probably his dream job. If you really think about it.
Come on.
Hey,
I don't think anybody ever. What do you say now?
Kids, he said, "Man, got a class coming." And why in the hell would he leave to go deal with Jerry unstable?
Because he knows Jerry. He's dealt with Jerry's unstable ass already for years, for decades. He knows what's up. This is probably his dream job. If it is his dream job.
But hold on. It's not just Jerry, right? It's Jerry's kid because Jerry's old. But Jerry's kid grew up, watching Prime Time. And so he's part of the family. He would probably love to have him down there coaching, along with the resume that he brings with him. Yeah. That it's just a match made heaven. And not to mention the marketing aspect of it and the clicks and the ads and the revenue and the Sanders and the Cowboys. And it's like, a screw you to the Giants because you're not getting Sanders. We're taking them. And it's the NFL. It's not college. You know what I mean? College is cool. Colorado's cool. Florida State is cool. Black Diamond. Jackson State is cool. But it's not Dallas motherfucking Cowboys, America's goddamn team.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, Florida State's a good call, though, Petty. It's a good call.
Here's my take on it. I think people underestimate Deion's his that will to finish it. You know what I mean? To really complete a job. Like the quarterback he's got coming in, he's going to be a freshman, but that boy's tough. I got a strong indication, man, that he wants to finish the job, and he's not done in Colorado. I think he wants to do what people think is impossible: take them to a national championship.
But didn't Deion just up and leave a whole other program a little while ago?
This is Jackson State. That's an HBCU.
Oh, okay. I'm just checking.
That's okay.
They don't count. They too small.
They don't count. Okay.
That's okay. But Deion is gonna be like, "Look, kids." No, he's gonna say, "Look, man. Look, with this NIL portal, y'all will be taken care of, and I'll see you in the league."
Hey, man, I'll be drafting you. I'm looking for you. Y'all
bringing y'all selfishness into what y'all think Deion is thinking. See, that's what I think is going there. Y'all thinking like, okay, ultimate opportunist, I'm gonna take this job over here next. I'm gonna set this up and do all that work.
What are we talking about here?
Isn't that his
dude don't
name?
need money. The dude don't need money. The dude don't.
No,
need
but he would
doesn't
want.
need legacy.
It's not a question of money, really. Here, this is a question of like, is the Dallas Cowboys head coaching job one of the most attractive things for a guy named Deion Sanders? And I strangely think it would be. I think the head coaching job for Dallas is kind of the tippy top for Deion.
Yeah,
I mean, it is the pinnacle for anybody of his stature to go and take a very. I mean, I can't. It's hard for me to argue with y'all, but I gotta pose another point of view because what y'all saying, it is fucking. I can see the shit on the wall, but I don't think he's gonna do it because I think he's stubborn enough to feel like he can win at Colorado with this recruiting class. Give him a couple more years, and he'll do the ultimate. Then he'll go.
Bro, you can win with your son in Dallas now? Like, this is crazy. I never had these thoughts before. I'm not a Dallas Cowboy fan. But it's a crazy thing to talk about. I think it sounds really cool. And shout out to Prime Time and Shador. If you guys can do what we just talked about here, you got to pull that off. That's crazy. NFL be crazy next season.
One of these times we're gonna have to do a show and do draft position and do a realistic mock-up of the picks in that first, 15 picks and see how much sense it makes. Is that pick the pick for them? You know what I mean? Under the circumstances, we'll do a show somewhere soon, and we'll get all the way into that. But what were you about to say, Trip?
Nah, and then I was like, because if that's the move, then of course the other son, the less talented one, is going to be in the league. Because of course he's going to get him a roster spot. You know what I'm saying? Keep that money in the family. Prime time. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Actually, I think Shiloh is more physically gifted than Shador. Shador has just been raised to be a quarterback.
Well, yeah, but they talking about Shador going number one, and Shiloh is he even going to be drafted?
Good question, man. Shiloh is,
so that kind of makes your argument go, get the fuck out of here.
I mean, you talking about dude that's playing elite level quarterback versus a safety.
Yeah.
The safety is a dime a dozen. So if you're not standing out like Sean Taylor level as a safety, you're just going to be a regular run-of-the-mill motherfucker that may or may not get drafted. It's not a highly prioritized position in the NFL. Right?
No, but if Deion is coach or GM or whatever the position is of the Dallas Cowboys, Shiloh will have a roster spot on the Dallas Cowboys.
7th round pick, yo.
So he gets that little, that contract bump.
There. Deion's there, he gonna get on that team.
Whereas, if Deion's not there, Shiloh maybe don't get drafted.
He might not get drafted at all. That's crazy. I never had these thoughts before, but they're not so crazy like a fox. You know what I mean? They're not so crazy that if it actually does pop off, I'd be surprised. Wow, that'd be really, really cool for the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think anybody out there is really having this conversation or talking about it. Y'all heard it here first, so take that for what it's worth. There it is.
Let me go ahead and let me add some cocaine on it and really hype it up. How about this? Deion Sanders. So there was I remember this quote specifically. I'm looking at the quotes in the air bubble in my head. That there are certain teams that he said that my son will not play for your team. And a whole bunch of teams got in the lexicon of, okay, who could he possibly be talking about? Do you think, number one, that Dallas might have been Chicago might have been one of them teams where he was just like, I don't want my son to go there.
Would you want your kid?
Number one, hold on, kids. Number two, it's a two-part question. The second part of it is, realistically, if they're actually out there looking for the best coach available for Chicago, is Deion in that conversation?
No.
All right, go ahead. I ain't gonna interrupt.
I just spent a whole bunch of time saying it would be awesome for Deion Sanders to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. That'd be super cool. I'm not sitting there saying Deion Sanders is an accomplished coach. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that. You that was kind of what your argument was. You wanted to finish the job and get it accomplished in Colorado because he hasn't really accomplished it. But what he has done is he's done great things by way of his son being that quarterback for his team. So that's worked out quite well, right? So I do give him a thumbs up there. Guiding his son into the NFL, that might be something that he can do as well, considering he helped him in the college ranks. That's about it. But, I can't sit here and say that Deion Sanders should be in the conversation for the Bears head coach. I wouldn't want that at all.
Look at this. Deion head coach, Michael Irvin offensive coordinator, Troy Aikman passing game coordinator, Emmitt Smith run game coordinator. That's per Minister Charles Johnson.
That's pretty crazy. It would work out too.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it would work out to to any sort of success in the NFL, but it'd be awesome to see for real. I'd love to see that, except for the Aikman thing.
But it will definitely put asses in the seats. And
Yeah.
All right. So what's your take on that, Trip? No.
You
want me to say it again?
What was the first part, real quick summary?
So there was an air quote I seen out there that Deion said.
The Bears were definitely one of those teams that he was talking about, because I'm sure he knows the dysfunction in Hallis Hall just from gossip around the league, as the rumors and the how the scuttlebutt, if you will. And I'm sure like teams like I don't know specifically what other teams, because I hadn't really thought that deep into it. Like maybe the Jets, maybe
that was definitely one.
Maybe the Saints.
I don't know about that.
You know what teams they can. You know what teams they are.
Deion
Southern. Throw the Cleveland Browns in there, right? You got to throw Cleveland.
So that whatever teams that he was basically saying, look, we have an idea for his future of what he wants to play, and these ain't in there. So if those that are a no to our camp pick us, there's gonna be problems.
Hey, question. I'm gonna just lay this one. This is the third part of the question I didn't lay on Kedz, but I'm gonna pose it to you. I think, quite frankly, it's a strong ass chance that Shedeur could be the first one to say, no, I'm not going to that team. What do you think about that?
Well, wasn't that he won't be the first one? Wasn't Eli the first one? Manning?
Yeah. No, I'm talking about in this.
I mean, it's not like there's precedent. It's like
there is precedent, but not by no black quarterback. But so
it's whatever. Lamar Jackson, I'm sure he could probably, say some shit too, that back in the day that Doug Williams couldn't. But it's like, nah, I don't want to go to the Jets. We're just gonna say the Jets. And so it's like, well, we don't you can't have a player, taking number one under protest. It's like, all right, well, we'll take somebody else, and either he falls or somebody trade to pick or whatever happens. But they can nowadays, especially the generation that is coming through college with this aforementioned NIL umbrella, and how they're, one and done. They don't go to college campuses anymore and build the camaraderie, the love to be on campus for 4 years anymore. They go in, mercenaries, boom, boom. Hey, they're giving me more money in this conference. You gonna match that? Nah, I'm out. And so there is no bond or teammate building like there used to be. And so if that mentality is what they've learned, why would that not carry into the pros? To where it's like, no, I don't like you here no more. Fuck you. I want to go over there. They're paying me more. I like whatever situation. And so, of course, Sanders would be somebody who would be front page of all the sports tabloids. Like, nah, fuck the Jets. I don't want to go there, in so many words. So I could definitely see that. And then, prime time is not above the manipulation of getting them to go where they want to go. That's the don't hate the player, hate the game, as he would say.
It's
This
not
is
like
why-
it's not as though the guy don't have the cachet and the staying power to say, you know what, this shit is not set up right. And I'm about to go into a rant about some of the shit, but I'm gonna hold it off. The shit that I see going on in the Bears organization, but that's a conversation for a little bit later. Save your gunpowder, man. I know everybody wants to go there, but these dysfunctional organizations out here in the league and these college players with a little bit more clout than I've ever seen, definitely more than when I came out, a lot more. And I say use it. And there's no reason why you shouldn't. I wouldn't want to go to a dysfunctional organization and struggle for the next 3 to 4 fucking years if I don't have to. And so use that shit. That's my opinion. Use that shit. Use your leverage. You got it. Do it.
Well, one thing's for sure: if Dion becomes the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, he could strong arm his way into moving his son away from another organization, right? He could potentially push capital towards his son, trade for him, trade for the pick, double down on the trade, as in trade extra capital in the future, in future draft. So there's things that he could actually do if he was the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, right? He'd have a little bit more stroke, a little bit more power in that respect. So that's one more reason I think that might actually go down here this cycle. We'll see. It's just a crazy take.
I would be absolutely glad to see it because there's some organizations out there with some billionaires that run those teams that really don't know what the F they're doing at all. And they're hiring the wrong people because they're listening to the wrong people. And sometimes, for some reason, in this day and age, in this culture, billionaires seem to think they know what's best for the world. And that's not just solely in a micro from a micro standpoint. That's a macro standpoint. Like, billionaires really think they know how to run the world. You just got a lot of money, motherfucker. That's it. And how you got it. But obviously there's some clear and obvious signs in organizations, and ours being one, that billionaires don't know what the fuck they're doing with certain shit. And when it comes to this football thing, they definitely don't know what the fuck they're doing. I don't know a billionaire alive on the planet that really can make football choices that really equate to championships. I would have said Jerry Jones.
I gotta disagree with that, but at the same time, the ones that are at Hallett's Hall have no bloody clue. Businessmen are businessmen. Hopefully, if you're a billionaire, you did certain things correctly. You know what I mean? In the case of these McCaskies, it's not so much that they did anything correctly at all, right? Like George Hallis spent $100, right? Like that's kind of how we got here, and here we are. But solid investment in the year, whatever it was way back when. I don't know, man. It's different at this point. If you generated $1 million on your own volition through business, you should have a good and clear understanding of how to do business. And under normal pretenses, if you don't know what the business is about, you find people who do, you pay them handsomely, and you step the F away. And then you come back every 3 to 6 months and go, hey, how are things going? How's my money? How are things going? Are they going in the right direction? Great. If they are, perfect. You deserve a promotion. You know what I mean? That's kind of how things look. But outside of that, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, that's not how it obviously happens here at Hallis Hall, because you have to look at how the billionaire was made. Some asshole sells an app, develops the app and sells it. That does not make him some kind of,
business genius. You're right.
Exactly right. And especially now you're born into it. That don't mean shit. but you don't have to be a genius to know that when you look at the games, and this kind of goes into billionaires and the whole polls situation, and kind of leads into that by saying polls has been here 3 years now, and everybody's like, we got to run this dude out of town now. I get we want to put him on the same timeline with the president, who should have hired the GM, who then hires the coach. I get all that's out of whack. But if you look at what has happened with the negatives, positives, opposed with his deals, signings, drafts, picks, this team would be a winning team if Flus does not shit the bed. And last season, the finish, the strong finish out of the playoffs that Flus had this team do looked like it made billionaire George, and it's got, this dude's a billionaire. What the fuck does he do? What does he do to be a billionaire? Nothing. Damn. But George wanted to keep him, Flus, that is, because the word is polls want fire Flus then in the last season. George was like, nah, he finished strong. We're going to give him another year. He's under contract. He's our people's. So we get into this season, and Poles is looking at the result on the field. It's not like you got to check in with a quarterly report. It's like, George, you're watching these fucking games because you're a fan like the rest of us, and you see these situational deficiencies with the head coach, and we want to fire him after the Pats game. George is like, nah, he finished strong last season. Let's give him a chance to turn it around. He's still under contract. He's our people's. So it got to the point where, Thanksgiving Day, everybody's, with the china and the champagne and the fine crystal and shit, how they, you know how the McCaskies do it. They billionaires, they be balling like that. Come on, the big layouts. And then they on the TV with the big screen and the theaters and shit. And then the Virginia got her nurse, she's in her little parlor with the big TVs. And then and then Flu shits the bed. And it's like, Poles is like, George, what the actual fuck, big dog? And so now we at the meeting, and then they had to come, for 2 hours. Woo, woo, woo. Well, we should keep Flus. Nah, fuck that. Warren is like, look, man, I'm the president, and I say he should go. Ain't that right, Brian Poles? And then it's like, gets into all of that. And now it's like, I want to get to finish to close the point that Ryan Poles has this team, and he has the franchise quarterback. There are obvious deficiencies, but between the free agent cap space this year and the amount of draft capital, those can be addressed. And if the head coaching decision was right, and the coach doesn't make detrimental decisions that cost games, this is a winning team. True. So when we were so fast to run Poles out of town, but it's like, I get it, but damn, what up?
You're gonna thank me for not letting you empty the whole clip out very shortly here. Very shortly, you're gonna thank me for that, because I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna start right here, and we're gonna work our way to what you're talking about. But let's start here because we got to. Recently on the show, kids, we've been talking about. Maybe we need to do a little bit of poaching, right? We need to do a little bit of poaching because we got some team needs, right? We got some team needs, and so let me start here. First of all, we released Demetric Felton, the running back that we signed a week ago, and we signed Royce Freeman, 6 foot, 238 pounds. And he's going to be on the practice squad. So I think he was on the street, previously. So he's going to be on the practice squad. One thing I would say before I let you go, kids, I would not move past the thought that he might be put up on the 53 this year, because we absolutely need some physicality at the running back. After looking at that all 22 and talking to you guys for the last 2 or 3 weeks, it's been clear to me that I believe that the move to move Khalil Herbert was the wrong thing to do. I think we've clearly been missing him. We've been missing that physical running back, and every team needs a little brutality and when it comes to your running back position, somebody that can run through smoke. And this is it right here. And I believe that Thomas Brown has some experience with him in Carolina. They ended up he was there for a time, I think a couple, 2 or 3 years, but he's got experience with this cat. And I absolutely love this signing, man. I absolutely love this signing. Got a physical back, 238 pounds, man. Nobody wants to see that, especially a nickel corner or safety. Once that guy gets ahead of steam, nobody wants to see that. Now, I'm not going to play it like, okay, he's the answer to all our problems, but we definitely needed a more physical running back that can help us out, even in pass pro. Roshan's down. We was down to what? We was down to DeAndre Swift, Travis Homer, and Darrington Evans. All good backs. I like them all. But you definitely need a more physical presence in the background. And I believe after looking at the tape, and I'm sad that it took us this long, but hey, Thomas Brown's only been the head coach for a week. I like the move. I know his handprints are all over this. But what say you, Kedz? What do you think about this right here?
Royce Freeman was a decent back once upon a time. I'm not sure what he is in the year 2024. It's been a minute since we've seen him run the football for anybody. I know he was out there in Denver for a little bit. And again, he was a decent back in Denver. Things I can say, DeAndre Carter's on IR. So with that, they had to find somebody to fill that spot. I'm not sure, again, if they plan to push him onto the 52 or 53. I don't know. But I think we can all agree that run game is not working. And at this point, you do have to consider the personnel as well as the offensive line, right? So I think this is a decent enough signing. Hopefully it makes some kind of a difference. I'm also interested in seeing a little bit more from Darrington Evans, who I believe was on the field last week. So maybe they let him do some kind of stuff, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I think they might have picked somebody else up too.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that, but go ahead, Trish. What's your take on this?
We need bodies. I mean, Travis Homer, didn't he have a concussion or he had some kind of injury that he went out with? Rojo is still down with his concussion, and Swift is, banged up with his groin. So it's just we need running backs. And hey, how you doing? You available? Come on, we signing you. And then we did it with Felton. Felton couldn't cut the mustard. Whatever the problem is that you get signed and released a few days later, it's like, oh, you really stupid. What do we sign you for? And you got to go. And then we rotate them in. So it's just depth, whatever. It's nothing that's gonna move the needle as far as I can tell. So,
Hey, all I can tell you is, and Minister says he believes that Rush's best days ended 3 years ago. Could be true, but here's my thing about it's like I've seen backs like this. One guy in particular, I'm thinking of him. He was with Vegas for a couple years, but he just kept on. He was one of those guys that was on the street. Next thing you know, got picked up and got put on a 53, and he took off. I'm just thinking of his name. He was number 28 too. And we're talking about in the last couple of years. I can't think of his name right now, but it's a bigger back like Royce Freeman. But this is the opportunity time for anybody within the organization, whoever they bring on. This is time to, this gives you a chance to, okay, do I even get considered once the offseason starts? Do they even bring me back to camp? Can I even get a chance to make this 53? This is what time this is. This is one of those, we have a need on the team. We need some more physicality at the running back position. Who can we go grab? Some familiarity with Thomas Brown. He knows what Royce Freeman can bring to the table. So I'm sure he picked up that phone and was like, "Hey, Royce, man, I'm thinking about you, man, but I need to know what kind of shape you in, how you feeling, and do you got anything lingering? I just want to know ahead of time because I'm on basically walking on eggshells. And if if I stand on a table for you and I go ask this general manager who recently asked me, what do you need after that performance? To me, it's a week late. I think they should have did this last week, but nevertheless, it's here now. But, back to the conversation he's probably having with him. He's like, I'm good, man. I can come in there and pass the physical and I can make the roster. I can contribute. So he brings him in. He probably passed the physical. And I like the fact that we have a 6'1" guy, damn near 240 pounds. To me, that's insurance. To me, I think he leapfrog at least Darrington Evans to get on the 53 this week. That's just my opinion. Just because we got size and some physicality in the backfield, I think this is a great move. I don't know how much Royce Freeman can bring to the table, but I do love this, man, and I believe that Thomas Brown knew what he was doing and made sure that he got this guy in the building. I'd just say that. One more time around the bend, kids. What do you?
I'm going to ask you a quick question. What year do you think Royce Freeman was drafted in?
I want to say
Either one of you.
2018, 2017. Kids froze.
Well done.
Hello?
Oh, well, my bad. 2018. Well done. That being said, he's only been around it's only been 6 years at the running back position, which is kind of crazy. Running backs disappear so fast. The running back shelf life is so short. Anyhow, we definitely need some help on the ground. The ground game is not working, so more power to everybody involved. Do something here, because wow, abysmal job on and that's half the battle. They got nothing done on the ground there last week, and I mean nothing. And it's been really iffy all season. So got to do something.
What say you?
There's a lot going on at Hallis Hall. A lot of emotional stuff, no emotional stuff on the field, but it still has the stink of eberflus. This guy's got a little bit of that brown stink on him. But yeah, that didn't quite sound the same loud as it did in my head. But Brown's fingerprints, Brown's influence. There we go. We don't know how long he's going to be here. Probably not for the next season. But this is somebody who maybe he can say, "Hey, this can help our run. He's available. We need somebody who can help our run and available." It's a good match, good pickup. It's not a lot of money. It's injuries at the position. It's football. Let's go.
He's like a better, he'll be a much better Roschon Johnson for the next 4 games, right? If Roschon is hurt, he'll be a bit of an upgrade there. Should provide very similar output, but I think an upgrade there. Roschon to me just, he's a north-south back who just doesn't get you very many yards.
What's
I'm saying? Like, this guy's a north-south back who might actually break it for a little bit. He might break it.
What's the physical back everybody fell in love with last year on the roster?
Oh man,
we got him off
Deonta Freeman.
No, that's not his last name.
Deonta Foreman.
Deontay Foreman.
Yeah.
This is I've seen this kind of shit before where a team is really not nowhere near the playoff conversation and they're auditioning guys for some opportunities later. It's what this is. And we've missed that physical presence. And a lot of people think Roschon Johnson is the physical part of our running back offense, but obviously Roschon isn't, because the more physical you ask him to be, the more concussions he gets. He's not that big of a guy to be running the way they want him to run, man. You got some guys that are built for this kind of battle, and to me, I think he's a, I just like this signing. I don't love it, but I like it a lot. And I like to see him get on that 53 this week and see what we can do Monday night, man, because what you got to lose at this point. See what you can do with him, man. So I just really love this, man. Let me look at these comments. I see you down there. I'll get back to you, Black Diamond. Just give me a minute. But kids, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna watch you squirm. I'm gonna watch you squirm.
Why?
Because you know what? I've said this for weeks, but I really, really hammered it home a couple of weeks ago, and we got into what people thought was like we were trying to kill each other argument. But I kept saying that we need to poach practice squads right now and find some fat boys. Why? Because we have a fat boy need on the team. We have a fat boy need on the team, a guy that can kind of can control gaps and give us some kind of help in the run defense. I said it. I stood on the table about it. Kedz was like, that's a stupid ass idea. Why sign a guy at this point? And I'll just leave it there, kids. They listen. Somebody's listening and knew. I'm sad, extremely sad, that it took us this long to realize that we have a big boy problem. And I like this kid. I liked this kid when he was coming out. It was a damn shame that he fell into the 7th round to the Packers 2 years ago. This dude is exactly what you need when you need to have some kind of stoutness in your run defense. You need to throw a body out there that can help you do it. This is the kind of body you need right here. Jonathan Ford, 6'5", 338. He will be active Monday night. Not only that, when you sign him and put him on the 53, you got to keep him there for the next 3 weeks. And so, and unless, and I'm knocking on wood, unless he gets hurt, we'll get a good solid ass 4-game audition out of him. This is a really good signing, really good poaching. But what say you, kids?
You got to do something, bro. You got blown out. You got to do something.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel. Here we go. Let's scrape. Let's scrape and you scrape. And hopefully
it's not that simple. The Packers are
bro, we got blown out. It's that simple.
Well, let me say this. The Packers are pretty deep in their defensive front. It's not that this cat cannot play. This cat can play the role that we need him to play, and that is get in there and really help tighten up that run fit inside. This is a pretty good signing for an audition, dude. This is not just blow this off and be dismissive of it, dude. This is a good signing.
Okay. We'll see what kind of an impact he makes on Sunday. Like, what are we really talking about here? Are we saying he's going to start over a Zach Pickens or start over a?
Now you're trying to take it into an argument that you think you can win. No, I told you they need to start poaching practice squads and get some big bodies. Just acknowledge that you had shit wrong.
They should do anything to not get blown out on Sunday.
I'm gonna spice it up, kids. That's the easiest thing to do. Is just acknowledge you had it wrong. Nomad, you was right. They probably should have went on a practice squad and got some big.
You beg for his victory lap here.
Damn,
do your victory lap, dog. That's your victory lap. We're still getting blown out on Sundays. Who cares about this guy? Is he going to somehow start over top of a Byron Coward? I'll even throw
let him disrespect
down. Is he going to start over Byron Coward?
Don't let him disrespect him, Trip. We got the big body we need.
Yeah, I mean, he's 6'5", 360 or however much. He was crowded out from a talented roster. This is a position of need. We've seen this team get gashed in the run, especially more since Billings went out, and Pickens has been a disappointment. Dexter has some knee issues, and Walker is just kind of so we need a bigger body in the middle, and this is a bigger body. He goes in the middle. Welcome.
It's a bigger body.
So, kids, I'm gonna say this, man, and this ain't got no malice to it. It's just a long time coming, and Flus has been here for 3 years, and at least for the last, let's just say this year. Let's just focus on this year. Since Andrew Billings got hurt, that was to me, and we've talked about it on and on and on these podcasts, not just on some extra sauce, on Nomad at Night, during the live watches, all the shows that we do. I just kept on. I was just like, dog, we got to get some big bodies. We got a bunch of 300-pounders, 305 to 315-pound guys. That's good. But these ain't the type of guys that need to plug your middle. You got to have some fat dudes. You got to have some fat dudes on your roster to try to plug this shit up. And for whatever reason, Flus was rigid. He just felt like, okay, we got Byron Cowart now on the roster. He's good. He can help plug up that middle. And it's basically you overvalue what somebody can do. Byron Cowart, I think, is a good second or third 3-tech, straight up, and can give you some snaps at nose tackle. But to have him as your every down, or Zach Pickens as your every down nose tackle minus your Andrew Billings, I think you just set yourself up for failure. And we've been seeing it week after week. And the culmination came with Flus getting fired. He didn't get fired for that. But that was one of my indictments of him, is that we couldn't stop anybody from running on us, especially on the interior. It's just not firm enough. And how do you get firm enough? You don't have to turn football into some kind of goddamn Chinese arithmetic assignment. You just get fat people. You get fucking fat people. And that helps you. That's what this is. He looked at this is Thomas Brown looking at the tape and asking Eric Washington, what do you need to help shore that up? That's an absolute problem when I'm looking at this on the tape. When I'm grading this tape, there's a problem on the inside of this defensive line. What do you need? We need bigger people. And here's your answer. Here's your answer. Right out here in the open. I've been saying it for weeks and weeks, but this ain't about me. I'll let you have another bite at that, kids.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's your answer, Jonathan Ford.
All right, Trip.
He might not be the answer, but he goes toward more to answering the issue than not.
Like I said, they got to do something, Trip. Right. You can't just get blown out on a Sunday and do absolutely nothing. So they went and they got a couple of guys. Another guy was hurt, and another guy's going on IR as well. Things had to be done. They brought a couple of guys in. Definitely needed to do something with that run game, as we just saw. Definitely needed to do something on, with their ability to stop the run. So here we are. We got a couple of guys off the practice squads. We'll see what they do. You know what I mean? But like, I can only be so excited about this after games like we've seen the last 7 weeks. This is post, and the same things I was saying. This is after the trade deadline, when Poles is holding all the cards and can actually make a move for a real guy like this to to do what you're asking. That time has passed, so now we're just we're scraping. And by all means, scrape, because you can't just get blown out and do nothing, because then it looks like you've resigned to your fate and you're doing nothing.
If this is called scraping, I like this scrape. This guy, I loved him at Miami. Loved him at Miami a couple years ago. And I always felt like, and of course, again, I always say this shit, but I'm a defensive thinking guy. And on your defense, you got to have guys in the middle that can keep your linebackers clean. What do I mean by that? When you're playing, you're in a run fit, right? When you're in a run fit, you got to make sure your defensive linemen have been communicated with, number one. I'm talking about as a linebacker. Sometimes nickel corner play that role. That's rare. Very rare, Kedz and Trips. Does a nickel cornerback ever communicate with a defensive lineman? But if a nickel corner is read into the play and sees that the linebacker doesn't see what he's seeing, he can go up there to that line and tell him, hey man, look, slide this way. This is going to be heavy left, heavy right. Slide this way, and it's going to be basically what I'm telling you is those linebackers need that front and those big dudes to really keep them clean. At least slow down the running back so that he can get in that gap and make a tackle. If he says, if Tremaine Edmonds goes up and taps this dude on the ass and says, "Go over," what does that mean? That means don't go underneath. That means go over the top and just keep going. That's going to tell him. That's going to tell the linebacker that he needs to fill that hole behind him, and he can fill it clean, and he doesn't have to worry about if the lineman's going to get in the way. That's what I mean by playing clean. So he can go in there and fire that gap and go downhill and make a tackle. That means he communicated with that defensive lineman. That defensive lineman knows to get out of that hole. And so we haven't had that this year. We've had it in spurts and moments, especially when Billings was here. But when I'm watching this team play on defense, this is clearly the thing that really disturbs me. It's the fact that we don't have big enough dudes to really, really man gaps. We got big dudes, but not big enough to really man gaps. All you got to do is put a double team on them, and they can't do shit. That's because they're under 320 pounds. This is clearly the thing you needed, but I'm not saying he's going to be the answer, kids. All I'm saying is this is something that we clearly need.
That's what we can run the tape back. That's what you said. You said he's the answer. That's what you said, and I quoted you.
I didn't. You just got all that malice.
I quoted you. I said, "There's the answer." I quoted you
because I'm right. You was just fucking right.
You're right. The victory dance continues. It's funny to me that we're getting blown out on a weekly basis, and you're right about Jonathan Ford. We'll see how well we do next week.
You guys are
well, no, but Kedz, it's cool the victory dances because remember, Rome caught his second touchdown. When we was down by still a lot, he was getting his little dance on. Oh. And then when the game was over,
John Owens
that interception, and he gonna go down there and dance and shit.
He did his victory dance too. That's what I'm saying. Your victory dance is moot and pointless, and so was John Owens's. And unfortunately, Rome, even though a great day for you at the office, your team got blown out, bro. Kind of a moot victory dance. Whole lot of moot victory dances going on out there. So get your electric boogaloo on. I know you enjoy it, but end of the day,
this damn show ain't about no victory dance. This is about really just.
This is what you're dancing victory, dog. You're dancing victory because they stand up.
I'm being thorough about
the practice squad. That's where we're at.
I'm being thorough about what I'm saying and describing. You think it's a victory dance? No, dude, I fucking do this shit. I really do this shit.
You might. Nobody's saying that you don't.
And they finally fucking did something about it.
Nobody's saying that you don't. And at the same time, I wasn't saying that you were wrong. There's clear with Billings went down. There's clearly a hole that's required to be filled there. My point was that Poles had the opportunity to fill it for real, and chose to stand pat and do nothing. He did nothing at the trade deadline this season. He did absolutely nothing. And we are now in a 7-game losing streak. There are things he could have done. The one thing he did do at the trade deadline was get rid of a running back, and look at what's happened to our run game. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit egregious and questionable, but here we are trying to find a running back off of a practice squad because we got rid of one that could have fit the bill, and we did absolutely nothing to fill a potential Andrew Billings situation or backfill it or provide depth there, right? And that's why I was saying, like, we can scour the practice squads, me and you here, and have conversations about them. But God willing, that's not the answer. That's not the fix. It's not the long-term fix. It definitely isn't. It might be a stopgap for a game or two, but come 2025, they actually have to find a real fix for this problem because they can't stop anybody from running on. Hell, the 4th string running back was running down on us.
I'm not saying that this guy is the answer here in Chicago right now for the long term. What I'm saying is I think really highly of this kid. and I always thought highly of him. I can remember him as a freshman at Miami. That's how far I go back with him. I can remember him as a thin-ass freshman in Miami, and he turned into this. He turned into this in a few years. You know what I mean? He turned into this body. I watched this kid at Miami when they signed him. I'm saying that this guy is going to get an opportunity that he didn't get in Green Bay because they have the depth and they didn't need him. So he signed to a team that really, really had pieces there, and on the defensive front, it looks nice. And he just didn't get an opportunity. What he's getting is a golden opportunity in Chicago in the next 4 games to really show that maybe you should bring him back to at least bring him back to your maybe a training camp or something. But this dude is not anything to sneeze at. He's exactly what you need as a nose tackle. And I'm just going to leave that there. It's not a victory lap. It's just me being positive about what I see about this kid, and I like him getting the opportunity. Period, point blank. That's all it is.
It's a victory lap. Whole lot of that going on. I'm just saying, everybody needs to stop doing it.
Don't say you
losing.
Just say you was wrong, and we'll leave it alone.
I was wrong about what?
About we shouldn't poach some practice squad guys.
Okay, I was wrong that we shouldn't poach practice squad guys. Let's see how right you were.
Okay.
Let's see how right you were, and we're gonna win this game this Sunday.
Being right, it's about saying Nomad.
This guy's gonna stop the run. This Sunday, we're gonna win this game.
Something, bro. That's it. Fuck it.
This guy's gonna stop the run this Sunday. It's gonna be worth our while.
I ain't finna get a hotel room with you. I'm through with it. Let's get to this. Let's get to this.
If you're gonna dance, do the dance.
Let's get to this because
do the dance.
Here's the main emphasis, and I save this until last because it's a lot of people out here running their mouths, which is why I stayed away from podcasts all this week. Now, this is a Sylvie quote from ESPN 3000, paraphrase, both Ryan Poles paraphrase, both paraphrased by him and Sylvie. This is my version of what I heard. This is the statement. This is per Ryan Poles, and this is people reporting outside the building. Poles isn't happy with the current arrangement. Says that he didn't sign up for this, end quote. Reportedly, he was attracted to this job because he can go directly to the owner for any needs. That's the nuts and bolts of all the conversations you've been hearing, all of these clickbait, shows and all this shit that's going on out there. Here's the nuts and bolts. This is Sylvie kind of putting his name on the line. Not only that, question is, Kedz, do you think this is a legit story? Does this make any kind of sense to you based on the conversation that we had? We've had conversations saying, I know me and Tripp's been firm, and you too, about like Kevin Warren's out of line, in my opinion. He's just out of line with what he's doing right now. He's not very necessary in this circumstance, and he just undercut this kid and undercut this GM, and I don't like it, man. I really don't. I think every coach should have at least two opportunities at a head coach. And what Kevin Warren did to him, if this is leaking outside the building and Sylvia's putting his name on it, I'm probably more than 50% in belief that this is the truth. I'll just say that and pass it to you.
Man. I don't. That's a good reason to have taken the Chicago job, to be honest with you. It's a good reason. There's a lot of things that baffle the hell out of me about all this, and I think I've lost empathy for Ryan Poles. I'll be frank about that. I think I'm at that level where he doesn't really need my sympathy or empathy, man. He doesn't, because he's got a lot to answer for. There's a lot of question marks, and the first one is how did he take a 4-year deal? So I listened to this entire
we don't know if he took a 4
episode. We do.
We do?
Yeah.
I don't know.
There are multiple sources out there, so not just on this episode of Waddle and Sylvie did Mark Silverman repeat it, but Adam Johns as well this week mentioned that he's got a 4-year deal. And why I'm saying Why I'm saying a 4-year deal is a little bit crazy, like you would probably need to have a 5 or something longer than that, was because he came in here gangbusters, tearing everything down, knowing we're going to suck for at least a year. At least. It might take a little bit longer than that. That should have been the initial negotiation walking in the door. Guys, your contracts are out of whack. I had to tear this thing down to the studs. I'm going to need a little bit of grace and leeway. That should have been negotiation point A. Somehow that was off the table. He got a shorter amount of time than Matt Eberflus did, which is kind of crazy to me. But I guess he took the job because he thought going straight to George McCaskey, of all things, was a good idea. Even that begs me pause for Ryan Poles. You don't want George McCaskey involved in any capacity, bro. He's the guy who's telling you can't fire the coach you're trying to fire when you want to fire him? Oh, yeah. He's the guy who gave you the head coach for the most part, wrapped in a bow and picked him out for you. And now you're in this situation. But you doubled down on it. For a minute there, I had us all feeling, hey, he got set up by McCaskey. But you doubled down in year 2. If you didn't double down in year 2 and they forced Eberflus on you, my brother, I do feel fucking bad for you. And I wish I could tell you anything but to resign. I would kick rocks because that's some straight up BS and there's no way around it. Let's just put another layer in between who can now micromanage me. Enter Kevin Warren. Yeah.
No turn trips.
As the world turns, as Hallis Hall turns, like the stories, the soaps, the telenovelas, as the abuelas used to be watching, like in the laundromats in Chicago.
Telemundo.
Yeah, Telemundo, but the telenovelas, the story.
Yeah.
And, it'd be like, Esperanza. Like, oh. And then it's like, Ryan Poles got hired. He was like, all right, George, you my boss. All right, I'm the general manager. And it's like, oh, guess what? We hiring a president now. He going to be over you. And it's like, wait a minute. Those weren't the parameters of which I was hired. So I can understand where Poles will be a little miffed. It's like, well, this is a different hierarchy, a different structure than what I was hired under. So, okay, let's adjust to that. And then Warren is just kind of like a guy that is like, hey, if there's some power to be had, he gonna take that. However, whatever means necessary, good, bad, indifferent. So he saw the opportunity to say, hey, I'm the president. I'm in charge of the stadium. I'm in charge of football, but Poles is in charge of football, but I'm in charge of Poles. And Poles is like, all right, but I still am the general manager and I need to fire a coach. I should be able to do that. And there was pushback from the ownership, but it's like, well, what the fuck? All right, so Warren is now my boss as general manager, but I still can't fire a coach unless I go to ownership. So then what the hell's the president for? And so that
he's
whole
supposed to be making a stadium.
Well, the stadium is a thing. Arlington Heights just last week, 2 weeks ago, cut down $5 million a year off a month or whatever the fuck off the taxes. That shit takes time. So Warren is like, he ain't got nothing else to do. He going to lunch with the mayor, in Chicago. He's, glad handed, smiling in front of the cameras and shit. But he's waiting on the bureaucratic process to happen for the wheels to turn. Before, the stadium actually gets going, which will probably be in Arlington Heights, which they're just waiting on the right time. But he wants a winning football team, Warren does, I'm sure. So he wants Poles to succeed, but Poles has just seemed to have not been in full capable hands in the coaching department. Because like all of the coaching staff, Flus was hired before Poles. Well, Flus was picked before Poles got here. And then Flus hired all the staff. Poles didn't hire any of the coaching staff. That was all Flus. Because that's the hierarchy. That's the way it goes. The head coach hires his staff.
Of course.
So when all of the shit went down, when Coach Alan Williams, when HR kept getting notices from him, because when all the female employees would leave their seats, he would be, caught sniffing, the cushions on their seats. So he had to be fired. And then the other dude got fired for cussing out people for doing something, I don't know. And then, Getsy, he was gone. And then Waldron. So all of Flus gets to hire all these motherfuckers. And then Poles has been trying to fire this dude while he's got the team in good financial situation with the cap wise. And he has draft capital going forward. And he has the trenches to address and a little, tight end here, running back there. Does Tyreek Stevenson make the cut? That's another storyline going forward on our little soap opera. So, little things, but they are fixable, within this season. And now, even if he does hire a coach who has a different scheme, with the athletes on this team and the trenches that still need to be fixed anyway, whatever scheme that the new coach needs, we should be able to fulfill in free agency and the draft this season. And remember, if Flus doesn't, just go zoned out, glitch or whatever the fuck he did, this team has 4 more wins this season or something shit like that. So it's not a losing team. So this team has the talent enough to compete, but the motivation, the coaching has taken out that fire, that ember that you need to compete in football, not just the X's and O's, but the emotion that's in the game. And so Poles looks like he has a team there, but everybody wants to get rid of him because it's been a whole 3 years and we're not competitive yet. But it's like, yeah, we are kind of competitive if you look at it from that holistic lens.
With who? With what?
Say again?
Don't do that. Don't do
What
that.
What are we competitive with?
There's a lot.
No. If Flus doesn't, if Flus calls a timeout and we go to overtime and we win that game, that's a victory. And so you go to the we were
competitive for a while. You're right.
How many games did Flus cost? How many losses can you attribute to Matt Eberflus?
3 to 4.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right. So you add those 3 to 4 victories to this record. This is a competitive team. I mean, we're still in the goddamn hunt for the playoffs.
All right.
And so
thanks for that, Triple R, man. I almost forgot because these last couple games, things have been looking real ugly, man. But anyhow,
it's easy to forget, man.
Right. And so this is not as horrible of a situation as people are claiming to be, but the barn is on fire. Everybody needs to be fired. We're not winning. We want instant gratification. But when Poles came in, he told the McCaskies it's going to take time. It's going to take a few seasons, which is why that 4-year contract is kind of surprising. It would seem more like 5. But we're in year 3 now, and it's right there. Would have been competitive. Only so much more to fix on the team. Let's rock with them for another season. Why are we now going to enter the cycle that we've always doing? And it's like, well, this guy's getting rolling. Get him the fuck out of here. And let's start over with somebody else who's a retread or a first timer. So remember, Poles, first time GM. There's going to be first time GM growing pains as well. But he's been more positive than negative. So we can't have perfection overnight from every level. When all of the general manager, Warren, all the players are coming into Hallis Hall where the dysfunction lives. So we can't have all of these outsiders expecting them to come in and clean out that bad mojo within 1-2 seasons. It's growing. We're getting there. We're not going backwards. Coaching wise, we were. And emotionally, this team is. But we can get that shit back. So stay the course. And it's like, give it just time. Damn it. We're so impatient.
Hey, you know what? Let me say this, and this whole conversation is your money's worth right now as a member of the network. This is what you're not gonna get nowhere else. I'm gonna give you guys, with respect to what everybody just said, kids and trips, man. I'm gonna give you my synopsis of what I see going on, and this is to let me start off with Trips' point in particular, and why Kevin Warren was brought here, and that is to do a business deal, and that business deal, I think he underestimated what it would be like to get a business deal done here in Chicago. I think guys like Kevin Warren are business administrators. They're PR people, PR bulldogs is what they are. And that's pretty much why you saw what you saw when he got out there and kind of got in front of Ryan Poles and sucked up all the air in that room. That's because that's what he's programmed to do. That guy needed a win, Trips and Kedz. He needed a win. He came to Chicago and thought that he would come in here and bulldog the entire city and get exactly what he wanted, when he wanted it, where he wanted it done. And that fucking shit didn't happen. He ran into the political machine that is Chicago. And thus far, he's been here a year and a half, and ain't no damn dirt in the ground. I mean, ain't no shovels in the ground. And he's kind of probably frustrated about exactly which way to go with this to make this look like a win for him. This is how these kind of guys operate. These are corporate people. The corporate people, and he's a corporate person that thinks in that light. I need a win. And to the dismay of Ryan Poles, he opened up a door. And I don't know that he's the one that opened it, but the door was open based on the performance of this team and the pieces that may or may not have worked that Ryan Poles put his fingerprints on. You Nate Davises of the world, the offensive line, the defensive line, and them not winning games in clutch moments. The door was open. And guys like Kevin Warren, they go through it. And what do? Seize an opportunity to get a win. And that guy needed a win. He needed a win. Why? Because he didn't done shit. You know, I'm talking about Trips. I'm talking about from I would just say from a publicity standpoint and how people view this overall. They look at Kevin Warren like, you ain't done shit. You ain't got no stadium started. You ain't did shit. I know how the politics play in the city. I know it. And you can't really blame that totally on Kevin Warren. That's just the shit he's going to run into. Coming here and thinking from Minnesota, you're going to come in here and play that same game. It ain't going to work, bro. Straight up. It ain't. And he ran into a problem. What Ryan Poles had going on with Flus and that coaching decision that was made in the offseason led to this moment. It got to a point where it's gotten, I don't think anybody would argue with you and say that it's nothing less than embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Watching this football team play, and who else are you going to point the blame at other than once you get rid of the head coach, who else are you going to point the blame at? But the fact of the matter is we should have never seen Kevin Warren in front of the camera. It should have been all this guy right here on the screen. And he should have went out here and it kind of should have went like this. You know, we're going to make a change at the coach. I really appreciate Matt Eberflus. Matter of fact, he's my friend. I love him. I enjoy his family, and we've made a strong connection. But the truth is, we didn't get it done. We didn't do enough. It was too many times where things should have happened that didn't happen for us. And at the end of the day, it falls on the head coach, and we're going to make a move. We like Thomas Brown. Why? It's because we brought him in because of his leadership capabilities. And we're going to give him a run, and we're going to not judge whether or not we need a new head coach. We're going to give this guy every opportunity before we go into that cycle. But instead of that, what you got Kevin Warren that took us right into that cycle. And it was unnecessary. He just leapfrogged everything and said, I need a moment. I need a win. And this is just how people that are business people, let's just say capitalists, this is how they operate. They need wins. It's a publicity game. He needed a PR win. That's what we saw. And what you see on the screen, I don't blame Ryan Poles for, because he signed up for something and he didn't get it right now. But I wouldn't say quit Ryan Poles. I would say play this out. Play the hand that you're getting, and let's see how it goes. But I think I 100% believe Kevin Warren was out of line, straight up.
I don't know what the line is, and really, I think we're seeing what the line is, right? The real delineation in where the buck stops. I think the buck stopped, and always did, at McCaskey, and I think that's still the problem, because I have a feeling that now what happens is both these guys got to go ask George. So, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. We're in full bizarro world now, guys, with both feet. The time warp again has started, and we've just added another layer into the mix, another suit to ask George if they can do stuff by way of football.
You know what's terrifying to me, kids, is the idea that a non-football person, and by everybody's, I don't give a shit how anybody else sees Kevin Warren. Kevin Warren is not immersed in football operation. I'm talking about coaching and personnel. He's not immersed in that world. He's immersed in the business, administrative world, PR world of how do you make organizations move. And that's a whole different universe. Really, it is. I think people need to give proper depth, just proper respect to what the world Kevin Warren lives in. And that's a particular world where you have to be an ace at what you do. It's a really important thing for an organization that needs to grow. But to immerse yourself into football operations, coach personnel, that's some bullshit. Somebody needs to fucking say that. That's some
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like, is Ryan Poles immersed in it?
I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm gonna let Trips go.
Well, immersed, and I mean everybody's immersed in. Everybody's in Hallis Hall. Has got it on them, because George, when he hired Poles, was a whole new direction. I'm standing back. I'm washing my hands of it. I'm not a football guy. Blah 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 blah. But it still has George's fingerprints on the whole coaching thing aspect of it with Flus. And so that is not giving Poles full, reins of responsibility, full control, full autonomy. And now Warren is there. Firing the head coach does not, like Nomad is saying, need to entail the president talking. That's a GM purview decision. Warren can be there, standing in the room for support or whatever, but Poles come in, Flus, blah, blah, blah. He's out. Brown is in. Let's keep it moving. We'll start conducting the head coaching search, as an organization going forward, blah, blah, blah. All right, y'all have a nice holiday weekend, and we're done. And that's it. There is no drama. There is no whatever, but the drama is there because, well, now you got George, who still is involved because of Flus, even though he's not supposed to be involved. He's supposed to be weighted back the fuck over here, but he's still all over in here. And Warren is trying to, figure out his power, his position, his dominance, where he can grab it. And Poles is trying to be like, look, I just want to hire a coach that I want to hire and, fill the team and shit. I don't know about all this because that's not my thing. And so there's all this going on. And we are so close to the detachment of, George's influence, but obviously not. Just let Poles hire a goddamn coach. I think he has in mind what Caleb wants to, because he's communicating with Caleb. He's communicating with Caleb's team, his daddy, and all of that. Waldron, I guess they signed off on because of his history. Now he turned out to be a real shit show. Does he do that again? We don't know, but we should give him the opportunity to do that. I mean, he's got the Caleb Williams. He should have the next 3 years at least. Is that what we got Caleb for? 4 years? Close to that. It's like, all right, you don't get another quarterback. You're in with this guy. We're running it. So not 3 years, but 2 years or whatever. But he should be able to hire his own coach. That's the bottom line.
So think about the nuts and bolts of this quote here. I'm gonna read it one more time on the screen. This is paraphrasing. Quote, Post isn't happy with the current arrangement. Says that, quote, he didn't sign up for this, end quote. Reportedly, he was attracted to the job because he could go directly to the ownership for any need. So the way it was set up and the way it's been delivered to him, here's my question, Kedz. Do you think that there's any chance that Kevin Warren came in here with a purview of doing this stadium, and this is your role? We're going to appoint you as president of the team. But being given the role as president, being that the fact that he went and he didn't get the wins that he thought he was going to get, like that PR nightmare that he did with the stadium design and video and all that shit with the mayor of Chicago, that shit was a stink shit.
No, you're wrong. I don't think you understood the reason for all that.
Well,
right?
You tell me. Explain to me what I didn't understand.
Well, it was just all that was just smoke and mirrors. That's all that was. That's straight up business negotiation tactic.
It was an L.
No, it wasn't. It was actually a W. You know why?
Oh no.
No, it was a.
Do you live here?
It's got nothing to do with where I live.
Okay, then. All right, go ahead.
I'm going to tell you why it's a W. The W is not. The W was found in Arlington, and them already lowering the tax situation that he was up against. That it was just smoke and mirrors. That's all it was.
It is. It's a PR. That's what he does. He does PR, and it's an L in the eyes of every other motherfucker around here.
But
I'm not saying
for him, he's winning.
On the chessboard, you're not. I'm not saying on the chessboard you're wrong, but do it for the layman, kids. That's what I'm talking about.
For the layman?
The layman.
Who's win?
He took an L for the layman.
Oh man, if you're out here playing for the layman, you know what I'm saying? He's winning. He just won a whole bunch of tax dollars for the Arlington situation. You have to like just to make the world make sense. Ted Phillips screwed up. He went out there and bought a plot of land, and then the world said, "Wait a minute, y'all think y'all coming here for free? You know what I mean? You're gonna have to pay like everybody else would have to pay." And in that, they stopped and they let Mr. Phillips retire. Right? Now that Mr. Phillips is gone, they've got this plot of land, and the understanding is we actually want to use this land, but we don't want to pay to use it by way of taxes. So what do? I know what we do. Let's say we're not going to use the land that we bought and own. Let's make that an idea. We'll float that so much so that we'll actually have a press conference and a little video mock-up of some BS with no parking. I mean, you can't even park down there, but we'll throw that all. We'll mock that up and make it look pretty. I'll go out, I'll kiss babies and shake hands and make a little speech, talk about God and stuff. And then I bet you in a couple months they're gonna drop that stuff because we don't have to build it tomorrow. And what just happened this past 2 weeks? In the last 2 weeks, they have reduced the amount of tax significantly. I don't remember what I read here. Like I read it today.
$5.5 million.
Yeah, like it's significant. It wasn't for the layman. It was a business move. It was an actual boss move.
So hold up, Kedz. Before you go any further, let's break it down in these terms. And this is a totally capitalistic, that kind of world where contracts are drawn up. Contracts are drawn up so that you got to get to a certain dollar amount or percentage, on this. Let's just say taxes before you can get to your bonuses in whatever that contract is. And it's ironclad, but whatever the contract is, it's drawn up in a way that he has to hit a certain landmark or 2 or 3 or 4 in his contract for him to get the absolute money that was in there for him. And maybe the mercy to the conversation is in the details of what you got the tax rate to. This is the kind of stuff that goes on in the corporate world that I didn't know anything about until I started doing corporate sales and shit like that. But this is the kind of shit that goes on when people draw up contracts. They want certain guarantees that, hey, if we hire you and give you this amount of money, you get it to this number for us and you're good, you're gold. That can be going behind the scenes with him.
I can't confirm or deny that. I would be surprised if there's like a real bonus structure or commission structure here required by way of savings he's gonna put through. But
nobody fucking knows.
I like nobody's gonna know that. But at the same time, as a businessman myself, it's just good business, right? You want to reduce that price tag so you can do more with the money that you have. You don't want to spend outlandish amounts of money in the community when you don't have to. You just don't have to. You want it, like, this is just taxation here that we're talking about, right? So it's why there's lobbyists in Chicago and in Washington. Like they're gonna try to figure out ways around that those that red tape. And in this case, a lot of that red tape actually equates to tax dollars going to the city of Arlington. So I think, like, I knew what it was when I saw it immediately, and that's why when it came out in the first place, I was like, this is some BS. But reality is, it was a boss move. It was a straight up boss sales move. Like I'll tell you, I've done this move. You know what I mean? On smaller scale. You just have to do it.
Thus far, kids, and I'm passing it to church right now, Kevin Warren has taken an L in the eyes of everybody around here. I'm talking about from the people around here, the way that the layman sees it is Kevin Warren has taken an L and he needed an opportunity. He needed a win. Trips, am I wrong or right? I know he's got a big game he's playing.
Well, it's frustration, and Warren is catching the strays from the frustration of a losing on-field product. When Phillips and the organization got the land in Arlington Heights, they were like, we're not going to be, building until 2026, 2027. They stated that when they got the goddamn land. And then there was a change in the leadership and Warren's in. And so now, Warren is playing the game, the political red tape, the leverage creating situations, and he just saved, $5 million. I think it was a month or a year, but it's substantial savings that Arlington Heights just passed. So it's like, all right, that is another milestone reached on the new stadium build. Now they'll still say Chicago, Chicago, Chicago. That's just head fakes. If they keep saying Chicago, Chicago, Chicago is where we're going to build, the people of Arlington Heights are hearing money gone, money gone, money gone, money gone.
Yep.
So it's like, well, we got to reduce our tax, so we'll take this $3.5 million as opposed to $9.5 million, because if they stay in Chicago, we don't even get the $3.5 million. So now Warren is like, haha, we've done this. And so he interjects himself into the whole football thing because he's catching heat because the stadium's not built yet. And it's like, even if Phillips was still here, the stadium wouldn't still be built yet. But the impatience of, well, the team sucks. Well, what do you do as president? You're president now. Why does the team suck? Why is the stadium not built? What do you do here? And it's like, dude, relax. But if the team was winning, nobody would give a shit about Warren in the stadium right now because they'd be too happy with the team winning. So the unhappiness and the frustration and the just pissed offness with everything McCaskey, Warren is just catching all of those strays because he's here now in that position. So, I mean, the on-field product winning cures all. You know, it'll grease the wheels for the stadium to go faster. The meatheads that are complaining that Warren's not doing it fast enough won't even be thinking about it as much because of the winning. You know, George is happy. He can sit back and be like, all right, everything's rolling as we want it to without them being involved. It's just not happening like that right now. But I can see a path to where it could happen that way. And I understand kind of, you know, based on the information that we know what's happening inside of why it's kind of going this way. But the way it's going now is far better than what it could be with more of George's and his consulting group's influence. So, I mean, the shit could be a lot worse. And it's like Bill Belichick, he ain't coming in here and fixing all this stuff. You know, this is just going to take some time. You know, Bill Belichick ain't that young. And so Poles is, Warren is, you know, by the time we're got the golden shovels in the dirt in 2026, 2027, it's like, well, it took long enough. And it's like, well, you motherfuckers can never be happy, can you?
One of the good things about this network and this podcast in particular is nobody's in line to feed at the golden trough. Nobody's a reporter trying to get up next to, hey, I need an interview with this person. I need this for that person. No. Nobody's trying to do that around here. If we get an interview with this person and that person, great. But nobody's kissing nobody's ass around here to get the information that you can get from, you know, if you an ass kissing motherfucker around here, you can get that kind of information to find out really what's going on inside that building. And the truth is, we out here speculating. And these are paraphrases that you see up on the screen right now. We don't know the exact truth. We don't know that Ryan Poles, and this is to me, it's an internal conversation with myself about whether or not I think that Ryan Poles even got this job and that was his particular choice and coach. I'm not sure about that. I've heard all kinds of reporting out on that, all kinds. And, you know, my instincts tell me that he took this job because he needed to take it. My instincts also tell me that there's nowhere in fucking hell, Ryan Poles, do you ever just walk away from this job as a black man? Because number one, you're a black man. Number two, this is a GM job, and most GMs don't get a second opportunity. And that ain't got shit to do with a black man, white man, green man, or plaid man. It don't fucking matter. Is you got this opportunity, take advantage of it, walk through it. And that's my advice to Ryan Poles. Walk the fuck through this, and Kevin Warren will find his place. Later on down the line, that stadium will immerse him, and he'll get into that knee deep, and you won't have him to worry about no more. Kevin Warren won't be here forever. Kevin Warren will be here the next couple of years, 2-3 years, until the stadium has shape and form, and we're looking at what the future of Chicago is going to look like. But as of right now, I would say Ryan Poles stay the course. And if you want to maintain your chops as a GM, you go out there the next time you get a chance to speak to the media by yourself, you admit to some of the fuck-ups you made. There's some fuck-ups out there. Nate Davis being one that sticks in my head particular, but that's not the only one. You know what I mean? There's multiple things that Ryan Poles has opened himself up to. Is this part of the conversation I'm taking it to? Ryan Poles has provided Kevin Warren an opportunity to run in there and steal the oxygen in the room for the most part. And it's just due to, you know, if you wanted to just be really picky and point to things that he's done in particular and what worked and what didn't work, there's several things we can talk about. But that's just where I am overall with this dynamic between Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles. I think this is absolute bullshit. I think it's absolute power dynamics and power grabs that people in corporate worlds do. And he's just a byproduct of a corporate person seizing an opportunity, man. And I know it's uncomfortable for him. and he doesn't like it because he didn't sign up for this. He signed up to talk to George McCaskey about what he needs for this team. Knowing that he knows what this team needs, he had that guy as the filter. That's it. Kevin Warren got hired afterwards, and he's brought basically a shit show into the organization. And I hope it doesn't go so left that, we got non-football people fucking making decisions. And that is what we've had for long periods of time. And that scares me moving forward. I just don't want Kevin Warren to be the lone person in that room that's saying, you know what, this is the guy we need. No, sit your thin lip ass on down and wait till this guy makes a choice. Period. That's what I got to say about it.
But what if it's like, I'm so confused with all of this at the end of the day, and like I'm finding less and less reason to actually give any sort of a fuck about it. I hate swearing on the show, but like it's just the truth at this point. I'm not sure if Kevin Warren interjecting himself was the best possible thing or the worst. I'm completely confused at this point. All I know is that anything that George McCaskey touches is going to just wither into like non-existence. He's not a football evaluator. He's admittedly said this. We agree wholeheartedly. We all agree. How he's where the buck stops for this for personnel for this business is crazy. So like if it has to be Kevin Warren, that's fine to me. I would much rather these two guys do the darn job. And we don't get to have any more McCaskey at all, really. Hopefully. But you guys all know, every fan in the world is listening to me right now. You guys all know that's not how it's going to be. It's just an additional layer to McCaskey, which sucks. Just proves how useless Kevin Warren's role really is as VP in this business. There's a lot of people in this organization, from the top to the bottom, football players included, coaches included, who are just standing around making scads of cash.
Kids, what I don't like is the fact that, well, let's just say this. One thing I'm wary of, and that's people on the outside and the perimeter, out there on the purview of the whole thing that's going on inside of an organization, is how easy it is for us to say this person is stupid and doesn't know what he's doing, all that kind of shit. And that's the easiest conversation to have out here, is because there's too many people out here that want to be like, oh, George McCaskey's stupid, he shouldn't be involved. All that, I'm fucking tired of that. I am, because that's to me it's the non-football argument as to why any organization doesn't work. It's the non-football argument, but the truth of the matter is the nuts and bolts of why shit doesn't work happens on the fucking football field. Truth be told, I don't give a fuck who's making the decisions.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, the ownership is the lowest common denominator for a losing franchise or a losing, team.
Absolutely.
And the fan base is going to be like, hey, the owners aren't playing. We understand that. But the owners are hiring dumbasses who are fielding teams that don't win. And if you're constantly not winning after different players, different coaches, different general managers, and now our first-time president, but different presidents, the ownership is a thing that remains the same, consistent. And so it becomes their problem now. They are losing owners. They don't know how to, fill a team. They don't know how to hire staff. So they suck. They need to sell the team. Will Ryan Poles be able to pick his own coaching staff? Will President Warren, take over those responsibilities and overstep his bounds as a non-football guy? Will George release the autonomy and let them do their thing? Will they sell the team? When Virginia McCaskey dies, telenovela, baby. Keep tuning in as we find out the answers to these exciting, storylines.
As the world turns, you see it the right way.
Before you go, kids, Trips. I think the glue, the spit, and the ass juice that sticks shit together is what you said earlier in your statement. And the fact that we were really, really thin in the area of we could have won these games, and the conversation could be different if we had won these games. Because if we had won these games, all this bitch mode shit that we're in about this person doesn't know what he's doing, this guy's this is a poverty franchise, and this is a stupid owner. Oh shit, we wouldn't be talking about it right now because we'd be fucking winning. And that's why I go back and say that all of the blame, all this shit, man, dude, this shit happens on the fucking football field. When you're winning, nobody gives a fuck about what's going on inside a building or out on the perimeter of all this shit. But the fact that we haven't won leaves all the avenues open, and it's such easy, like low-hanging fruit for everybody to point the finger. Oh, George is this stupid motherfucker, and he hasn't known what I'm so fucking sick of that. I'm fucking sick.
I know you're sick of it, but it's not low-hanging fruit.
It's easy, man.
It's not easy, bro. It's not easy. We should not even be here. But like at the same time, you're also very right in saying that winning heals all ills here. Like we're talking about fucking football. Winning heals all ills. Like just win, baby. You know what I'm saying? Just win, get it done. A lot of the conversation that we would be having would be less valid here. But facts of the matter are, in any, like, George stuck his nose in this. He quite literally found exactly the way to make his impression felt enough to fuck this all up. And it's literally as simple as that, though. Like, what did he do? He made sure that he picked the head coach. The GM didn't. The GM had to ride with the head coach. And then he backfilled the role for the VP over top of the GM. Just, again, it's as backwards as Ryan Poles drafting secondary first. It is literally, from an organizational perspective, doesn't matter what company you're talking about. I like, how do you hire the manager before hiring the director he reports to? That doesn't even make sense. Then you hire the VP after? What? No, you hire the VP. He decides who's going to report to him because he needs to build out his team. Just like, the football team itself, when they did hire Flus got to hire his squad of guys who, again, got caught sniffing seats, right? Like, that's just how it works. You want to have your own team underneath you. You feel embraced, and
because we could have had 9. We could have had 9 wins by now.
We could have, and we probably should have.
In another universe, we have these 9 wins, and in fact, when we were at 4-2, there were people in this organization. Not only that, there were people in the fan base. There were people in the media saying, "We finally got it right at coach. We finally did this right." And Flus knows what he's doing. He's bringing his quarterback up the right way. He's developing all this good, positive conversations that happens when you're winning. And all of a sudden, the shit goes fucking 360 degrees the other way. And all of a sudden now George, not George.
You're acting like it was real secure, though. It wasn't that secure.
Now he's just George. He's not George McCaskey. Now he's just George. And, he's this, he's that. And Flus isn't this, Flus isn't that. Poles fucked this up, and he didn't do it the right way. all this shit opened up the avenues and lanes for we are laymen when it comes to, you know, being a part of an organization. We don't know what the fuck we're talking about. Be quite frank, we're just speculating. We're speculating. We're speculating, and it needs to be said that way because that's what we do. We're podcasters,
right?
Talk about this stuff, but you know, it's just funny how the conversation turns and how people get so fucking vitriolic about this stuff, and it's the same old stuff that I was listening to before I was a podcaster, and it's fucking sickening. We gotta learn how to back the fuck off and let people do their fucking jobs. George McCaskey is out and out said that he doesn't know it. He's not a football guy, and he's gonna give deference to football people. You know, where he didn't fuck that up, we have no idea. We can just speculate. We don't know if he forced Ryan Poles to make a hire. We think he did, but we don't know.
But he definitely was in a 2-hour meeting with Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren with respect to whether they were going to let go of Matt Eberflus. A 2-hour meeting.
With or without Ryan Poles?
I said with Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren, right? The three of them had to have a meeting to determine
what's wrong with that picture dynamic in your estimation.
Okay. So if the three of us are working for the Walmart, I'm the VP, you're the cart boy, and Triple R is the manager. I don't give a shit what you guys do. Like I'm just being, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm being so straight up. As a VP, is the money coming in? Is everything fine? Cool. So let's go down the line, the chain of command. Triple R, you don't want Nomad to work for you anymore. He's fucking things up. You want to fire him? That's cool. Like that's literally the length of the conversation it should be. I don't give a shit. Go hire another guy. Make sure he's in within the next 2 weeks and he's trained up, okay?
Where did it get wrong at, Kedz? Is my question next.
Sorry?
How did it get wrong? Where did it get wrong after that scene? That you got three of them.
Those are very good questions. Those are very good questions to maybe ask a director or somebody who should actually give a shit. Because in this scenario, I'm the VP. But in the Bears scenario, it's even higher up. This guy's the owner. Like, he shouldn't really care what the meanderances are between his two hirelings.
But that goes to what this guy's saying on the screen. He didn't sign up for this dynamic. So in reality, mindset Kevin Warren, that should have been a Ryan Poles and George McCaskey meeting, and it should have been a dictation. It should have been, you know, hey, George, I'm gonna let Flus go because I believed in him, but he did not get it done. But the fact that Kevin Warren was in that to me, it fucked up the entire dynamic. I don't know. Hopefully they can get past this.
I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench at you right now, and this is the one that nobody really wants to hear. What if, and like considering some of these reports that have come out, it sounds as if he wanted to let go of Matt Eberflus after the New England game. So if those reports are also true, then this has probably been a conversation in the making, or one of a few conversations about Matt Eberflus's continued tenure with the Chicago Bears. I can only imagine that that's really what it was. And if those conversations were continued, they would have been between Ryan Poles and George McCaskey. And my thoughts here is that George McCaskey simply said, nah, bro, you can't fire him. I don't want you to fire him. I like Matt Eberflus. He's really nice to my mom. They like bees together. I don't know. But I don't. I have a strange feeling that George was preventing this firing from happening. And I also have a strange feeling that Kevin Warren interjected himself and made sure it went down.
I don't think people pay enough attention to agents. And I've said this multiple times, and I think Trace Armstrong is the gangster in the middle of this that shouldn't be going on. It's contracts and alignments with people, and just
Well,
connections.
that's cool actually. Like you may have just given a little bit of you might have given a little bit of like a reasoning behind the like George McCaskey thing. Maybe it's more connected to Bill Polian and his relationship with him and or Trace Armstrong, who's everybody's agent, right? Maybe that's why George was so adamant in keeping Matt Eberflus along. The other thing that we've said in the past is supposedly they're related. I don't know if that one's true, but we definitely know that like Polian, McCaskey, Trace is sort of like a little thing because all those guys wouldn't be working here if it wasn't. So, maybe that makes a little bit of sense. Maybe again, there's something there. But I have a strange feeling that Kevin Warren interjected himself, maybe like a moron, or maybe in a power grab at the same time. But I think he interjected himself and got Flus fired in a situation where they were saying, "Yeah, sorry, Ryan, we're not going to sign off on that. We're not letting you do it." Which makes him feel even worse about his job.
What do you think about like if the fact that Ryan Poles couldn't unilaterally fire Eberflus? If that's the case, now that did leak out. Literally, it was after the New England game. Ryan Poles was ready to cut bait with him. What happened after that when he said that, this is what I want to do, how the power dynamic went after that, and Kevin Warren getting involved with getting in between him and George McCaskey. Is that a real thing? Do you think he wanted to go directly to McCaskey and say, this is what I want to do? Or did he do that and say that, hold on, I'm going to talk to you. We're going to make a decision on that. And the next person that got to Ryan Poles was Kevin Warren. Who knows if that happened or not? But what's your thoughts on that? Does that even make good common sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know the rotation, who said what when, and who knew it when and where. All we know is George is involved.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't supposed to be. That's all we need.
But Trips, what if he doesn't want to be involved and he was trying to push it away from him and left it to Kevin Warren? I don't want to know about it. Y'all do you figure it out?
Then why is he in Hallis Hall for 2 hours on holiday weekend? Why is he? It's like, send me a text. CC me on email or some shit. I'm a billionaire. I got to go, money to spend, holiday season or something. I don't know, whatever.
I can imagine that more than I can imagine what Kedz is saying, that he just jumped up and said, "You know what? This is what I want." I can imagine he was just like, "Get this shit away."
I understand he owns the team, obviously, so he has every right to be there, but he doesn't have any reason to be there to fire a coach. That is way below, where he should be reaching as far as his responsibility wise. That's why you hire people and delegate them to do that shit. Now you're micromanaging, or, you're becoming a hindrance to what the people you hire want to do, because you are involved in some shit you don't need to be involved in because you're a fan and don't know shit. So,
or maybe Trips, he just missed the opportunity to check a box. Maybe he missed the opportunity to say, "Hey, Kevin, we're hiring you and you're going to be the president of the team, but here's where I want you to be, and focus on that solely. Anything, I don't care what happens with this team, let Ryan and his team figure this out." And
well, that's just bad.
But did you hear what I mapped out, though?
Bad hierarchy, bad all the way around, if he has to express those sentiments and feelings at that point of the season.
You know what I mean? Like, I just kind of mapped it out where I'm under the impression that it may have been more than once that George McCaskey has prevented Ryan Poles from being able to potentially fire Matt Eberflus or change coaches.
In the last season and/or after the Patriots game.
This is what I'm saying. I have a strange feeling that this has come up a couple of times. Right? Why would I look for that? Why would I talk to Jim Harbaugh? Well, the fact is he doesn't work for the NFL. You can just have a conversation with him. It's a free world. It's not a situation where he works for the NFL and you got to wait and stuff. No, you can just talk.
Guess who got in the middle of that, kids?
Who?
Kevin
Warren? Well, you know who put him in the middle of it?
Who?
George McCaskey.
You sure? You sure now? Like it's not like
just think about the timing.
Hey, kids, I know the stories you've heard, but the situation ain't binary, bro. It's not. Huh? He's got experience with Jim Harbaugh in the Big Ten all by himself.
Okay.
All by himself. Now, when he got with George McCaskey, did they simultaneously say, you know what, you're right about Jim Harbaugh. We don't want that motherfucker in here. Did those feelings become mutual? Possibly, but don't forget Kevin Warren has his own experiences with Jim Harbaugh in the Big Ten and that lockout season when they had COVID. All that shit was going on, and we don't know all the stories that are behind that, and we never will. But there's
no. I'm saying something much more simplistic than you're thinking here. I'm just saying that if Kevin Warren had a problem with Jim Harbaugh, he was hired by George McCaskey. George McCaskey brought him in, right? Period.
So
he's the guy who hired him.
He didn't have foresight to think about that, maybe, possibly.
Well, look at what your team. What kind of foresight do you need other than a team record in this scenario? Team's hurting. They're struggling. They might need to look at a coach. Okay. Maybe the fact of the matter is, I can understand why Ryan would be upset having a guy over top of him preventing what he wants to do. And if this is if where we are here is trying to determine whether it was George or Kevin that prevented him from talking to Jim Harbaugh, that's a valid question. I think it probably was more Kevin. I'll be honest here. I do. But it's still George's fault because he just hired this guy and put him in this position. Right? There's really no reason for Kevin Warren. It's not like a fucking stadium exists. You know what I mean? He didn't have to be here right now. There's no stadium. He's done nothing. So, sorry, except for bamboozled the world and got them taxes dropped. But you know what I mean? That he did, and he did it masterfully. I got to give the guy some props for what he did there. But outside of that,
all I know is if I just opened up the framework and we just opened up the framework to continue this conversation, it'll be nothing but complaints for the rest of the night. And that's just
the ultimate point will come down to sell the team. And there's just a word of warning that I'd like to put out there. Obviously, this is a money cash cow, golden goose, golden egg laying goose motherfucker. So yeah, you're not going to sell it. And if you did sell it, you would think that the new ownership group would keep the team in Arlington Heights or in Chicago, wherever the fuck, here locally. But remember, the NFL is expanding internationally. And there is an expression that we had growing up in Chi, if you had to go out to the suburbs, like to a Bears game in Arlington Heights, it was BFE, bumfuck Egypt. But the way shit's going nowadays, games
BF Ontario, but continue.
Games could be BFD, bumfuck Dubai.
Oh, Dubai, we going all over the world, dog.
Hey, those Sandys get all that oil money and they just sitting on it. You know what I'm saying? They could be like, hey, Roger Goodell, NFL, here's an obscene amount of money. We want this Bears franchise play over here in Abu Dhabi. And all of a sudden, it's like, the NFL is like, okay, yeah, Chicago will give you another team one day. And then it's like, now we're in that situation. It's like, oh, damn, what did we want? Because now remember, there's still people in St. Louis. I know a much smaller market, but talking about horns up, it's like the Rams. They in LA now, baby. y'all don't root for them no more. Why you talking about horns up? LA horns up, but no more St. Louis horns up. So be careful, Bears fans. Team sells and they move someplace stupid, and it's like, well, why would they do that? Because it's they shit. They property. So chill.
And also,
so you're saying Toronto Bears is what you're saying.
And also because you sons of bitches complain too much. God damn, find something else better. Find a silver line. I ain't talking about you, kids. I ain't talking
No. I do complain too much, but I can't blame the rest of the world for it. I'm gonna give you credit though. Follow me though. Follow me here. Just win. That's the reason behind it. You're right. You know what I mean? I would say it out loud. You're right. If there was some winning going on, all this effing complaining would die. It would disappear. It'd be dead. All they had to do was win this year. And to be frank with you, all they really had to do was flip the coach at the end of the season. Because even in a losing season, we would have just given him a pass because he was a new coach and shit happens. But it's this bad right now, really, because of the retention of Matt Eberflus after the end of last season. That's why it's as bad as it is. But, what can you do? You lose a bunch of games.
All I know,
here you are.
Kids, all I know is been on the perimeter of this organization for all my life. Growing up, just loving this team, and it graduated, progressively in my life to this point right here where I have now the opportunity, and you all have the opportunity to speak your mind about this organization and those thoughts that you've been feeling and, basically manifesting, for a lack of words, all these years. And now all of a sudden, here's this outlet to really pour out what you've been feeling. And at times when we observe this organization, the games that we have to do live and the shows that we have to do afterwards, I think we all can be really, really like lemmings most of the time, and just fall into that herd mentality of this bitch and complain and talk about this and talk. And it's really counterproductive in my point of view. And, this is me in my mind. I'm a very optimistic individual, very, very forward looking in life, and I don't say that lightly. I am an optimistic person by way of my nature. And, me naturally listening to this fan base, and especially after a scenario like we just got through seeing this week and just, the last several weeks, it is easy for an individual or a human to fall into that category of, all right, everybody else is bitching. Why not me? I might as well bitch like everybody else, and I'm going to click on anything I see bitching out there. Let's just constantly do that. And that'll make everything better. Let's just keep on doing that. Thus far, what has that gotten you? What has that gotten any fan? All this whining and complaining. And I mean, it is absolutely horrendous watching our fan base. And I'm not casting any blame on our fans. I'm just saying somebody needs to say that. Like, Jesus Christ. Stop. Be cool. Look at some of the good things that happen. There's a handful of plays in these past 5 or 6 games. Let's just say 7, 10 plays, looking at the all 22, that could have changed everything. And we're not having this conversation. But this feels so good to people. This negativity of this, just the negativity around this thing feels so good to people. People feel this is a great time to vent what I've been thinking the whole time. I don't like George. He needs to sell the team. I don't want him to sell the fucking team because I don't know where the team's going to go. I like it right here in Chicago. Like Tripp said, we should be wary of that shit. We should absolutely be wary of that. And that could absolutely happen if we don't fucking watch it. All that complaining, I'm telling you, All that complaining now. Just putting it out there. I'm gonna pass it to you kids for some pleasantries. Keep that fucking shit in mind.
Yeah, like I said, I do agree with you at the end of the day. Winning cures all ills. That's what they need to do. They need to put a winning product on the field. This is a sport, guys. It's football. That's all it is. All they need to do is win, or at least look like you're trying to win. And what we saw this past week was quite the opposite of that. We saw a team that I don't hate to say this, I don't think anybody really gave much of a shit to be out on that field at all. I could probably name the players who were playing football last Sunday. TJ Edwards is one. Kevin Byard is another. Caleb Williams is another. You know what I'm saying? Like there were people out there playing football. Everybody else, I don't know. I'm not so sure. But it's okay.
Hey, speaking of playing football, kids, I know we didn't see Tyler Scott, because we just haven't yet. But with DeAndre Carter down, I was like, oh shit, Tyler Scott's gonna get some reps. And I was like, oh damn, Colin Johnson. I forgot he was even on the team.
He got starting reps this week, right? Over top a healthy scratch Tyler Scott, which really just screams volumes.
I do think he has a chance this week, though, fellas, because of the fact that DeAndre is on. I think they only had what they had in practice reps, and that was Colin Johnson as that fourth guy. And this week they can work Tyler Scott into it. This is his best chance to get on the field. Be honest with you, but I interrupted. My fault. Go ahead.
I mean, but this is the kind of dysfunction that I'm talking about. Now, Flus ain't here no more, and how far ahead is Thomas Brown concerned about the development of this team? He's got 4 games left. So going forward, this 4th round pick that we spent on Tyler Scott, he had a couple drops, okay, but he hasn't seen the field since. Has he rectified situation? Does he get the opportunity to get some experience? Is Keenan Allen, who wants 2 more years and $15 million per to come back, is like, nah, let's see what we got in Scott. And speaking of Johnson, as much as we're in the red zone, can Johnson have any packages where it's like we throw it up to him? But these are the kind of developmental aspects of team building and putting your players in the best position to succeed that we have not seen at all this year. And it's like, well, why aren't we using Scott's speed on deep posts to stretch the defense on a quick move to just get the ball out there? Nothing. Why aren't we using Scott's speed on some slants, get him in and catching the ball in motion and not having to, stop and then start again? No, nothing. Why aren't we utilizing Colin Johnson's height? Nothing. And so it's just, this is part of the lack of development that we're seeing. We can see that these players probably have talent. So Poles did his job, but the coaching of these players has been so lackluster that going forward, it's like we got a few games left. We're going to be playing spoilers, for fuck's sake. At least let's see what we have in some of these kids. Let's try to get some development going forward. And it's just, how invested are Brown and Washington in doing that?
Before you go, kid, this is something. Let's put this in perspective in its proper way. Think about this while I'm saying this. You got a former passing game coordinator and the former receivers coordinator. He was a receivers coach, elevated to first the offensive coordinator to now the head coach. Now the receivers coach is now the offensive coordinator. So these are the guys that have particular eyes on Tyler Scott. Now, before I would have been able to say, okay, Flus was a coach. Maybe Flus having his hand on the 53, that prevented Tyler Scott from getting all the way up and making the roster and having a role in the offense. We could have said that. That's been slightly removed. I wouldn't say slightly. That's been completely removed from the equation. Now we have those guys that have particular eyes on Tyler Scott as the head coach and offensive coordinator, and he still didn't make the 53. So what does that really say? Is it something that we don't really know, that we don't get to see? And this could be true, man. It could be very true that what they see in practice is like, oh no, that ain't going. Could it be something like that? Could it be that Tyler Scott ain't been what they thought he could be, or am I way off?
No, that's obviously a possibility. I just think it's as simple as he ain't no better. He's nowhere near as good as Keenan Allen is at any given point. So it's harder for him to break upward trajectory. Now,
you just say that one more time. He ain't no better than Keenan Allen.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's a Hall of Famer you're talking about now.
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not taking anything away.
Not Keenan Allen for reps.
That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you for the translation. I'm not sure how you heard it, but
I heard it. But go ahead.
What's that?
Go ahead.
Yeah, he's not beating out Keenan Allen for reps, and that's really where we're at. What was interesting, though, again, was this past week, we saw Colin Johnson over him, and he also took a slide, right? So let's be frank about this. I don't know how much development is going to be a priority for these interim coaches. They don't know if they're going to be here next year. This is their audition, right? So it's in their best interest to put the players on the field that they feel are going to perform the best in either case, whether offensively or defensively, Eric or Thomas Brown. But I think he did nail. I think he nailed something else there, Nomad. And I think maybe there's probably a lot more communication issues with the new offensive coordinator in play, and Thomas Brown sort of being elevated to that head coach role this week. That might explain a lot of what we saw this past week, or what we didn't see, which was any level of offense at all.
Trip, you want to mess with that?
Yeah. As we were giving pleasantries, and I kind of derailed that. It's like, yeah. I mean, the players want to, put the best film they can out there, whether it be, free agents or guys on contract. I wouldn't mind seeing DJ get a series off. I mean, he's playing through a lot of dings and dinged up.
There's a good reason to play at Tyler Scott, right? Like that. Yeah.
Give him a series. Rotate him in. See what he's got. So you're not dependent on him, but he's getting some live reps. DJ's getting a little
somebody off at this point, right? Like it's the only thing I can really think of. He must have gotten somebody's face and been like, "Look, what the fuck? I don't get reps. Come on." You know what I mean? Like I don't know if that's really the case. He seems to be a really mild-mannered guy from what I've seen of Tyler Scott, but he must have.
It's the exact same situation, different position grouping, but Ja'Tyre Carter. It's like needed fucking offensive lineman. This kid looked like an athlete. When he got on the field for the limited reps he got, he was good.
He was.
But he could never get back out there, and then it was like gone. It was like healthy scratches, and it was like, what the fuck? And so I don't know the development that is supposed to be happening that hasn't happened prior, and that is just probably not going to happen now going forward. So that's also a stagnation.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever. But thanks for all the no maniacs.
I'm gonna pass it around to you.
Oh, we're going back. All right.
Yeah. Look, one thing I will say is just pass it on to Canuck and I'll save my commentary for the end.
All right. Yeah. So I don't have much more to say. We got a football game on Sunday again. We didn't even talk about
Monday night.
Monday. Oh, great. Live and direct on a Monday. This will be fun. But yeah, we got another football game. We didn't really even talk about it, but let's just hope our Bears look like the Bears they looked like when they played this team the last time they played them. Because I wasn't mad at all that. There were things I was mad at, let's be real, but I wasn't mad at it. We could have won that game. We should have won that game. And I'm really hoping they can put on a very similar performance against the Minnesota Vikings. That being said, giving love to those who give us a little bit of love. Big shout out to Super No Maniac Terry Anderson. Thanks for jumping in, man. Good to see you in the chat. My guy Petty Murphy was out there. Black Diamond. Shout out to you as per normal, my dude. Big shouts. Shout out to the Minister Charles Johnson, who was right in there early with us, holding it down. Our guy FFG Style was out there. Shout out to you, dog. Always good to have you. Sometimes it's good to have you on the show too, man. We miss you. But that being said, let me throw it down to my guy Triple R. Give a big shout out to Triple R as per normal. Always awesome, kicking it with the homie right here. And a shout out to Nomad as well. Big love to me and my show on Tuesdays, 6 Central, 7 Eastern. Come hang out with me. We'll chop it up on some fantasy football stuff on the Superflex Fantasy Football Show. Starring yours truly, Kedz. God love it, and we'd love to have you. Bring your fantasy football questions through, and me and the King of Pop, as well as the dude, will do what we can to figure things out. And we may have a special guest or two. Who knows? Triple R.
Monday night, one of 2 games, very odd scheduling. But it will be interesting if Thomas Brown can be like, hey, you professionals, y'all going to play like professionals, a little pride. Is that what's going to happen this week? This is also the second opportunity for Caleb Williams to see that Brian Flores coach defense. And if Brown can defeat Flores, that could be like, hey, we started off slow, but I still want to be head coach. And y'all was talking about hiring Flores, and I just whipped his ass. So, yeah, fuck him. So, I mean, that's something, another storyline to look out on our soap opera of Hallis Hall and the Chicago Bears as it plays out again Monday night. Oh, we are gluttons for punishment, Bears fans.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
We are goddamn gluttons. But Sports Chicago Style, that is all the social medias. That's the channel on YouTube. Check out the content from the video recipes, the exercise vlogs, the body movements, and the Sports Chicago commentary. So give a little support, subscribe, like all that good shit. Big up to Nomad, the Canuck, the dude, and all the Super No Maniacs out there live now in the chat and watching later on demand.
One thing I will say, and I'm going to put everybody on the big screen here. Let me see here. Yeah, right there. And listen, let me say this. There's only so many places you can go in this podcast universe that we have for Bears fans that you will get straight, unadulterated, real raw conversations. This is the absolute epitome of, being a fan of the organization and then having an opportunity to have your viewpoint be expressed. This network right here is what it is, man. This is your opinions, your point of view come to life in real time. And it's just what we are. We're just a bunch of fans. We're just a bunch of fans is what we are. And the fact that we get you to come in here and express to you in the Super No Maniac Lounge, all you members, man, thank you all. Terry Anderson, all the way up to FFG, Minister Charles, it's Crimson You Dig. This is just people I'm thinking off the top of my head. Notch, Plank, everybody that became a member, man, we love you guys, man. And I'm breaking my neck, and I know that these guys feel the same about what we can do to make sure that we can appreciate you guys more. Number one, those people are the members of the organization. They're part of this. They're part of everything that we do every day. Every time that we do a show, they're a part of it. They help it happen because they put their money where their mouth is, and they make sure that we have the lights on around here to be able to express ourselves. And so that's probably the most important thing ever, because as we grow as a network, we need people to come along with us. And so all those people out here that haven't had their voices heard and want to have their voices heard, just know you have a place here. All you got to do is reach out. And we'll be right there, and we'll see if it works. Everybody's not going to be a podcaster. but everybody that wants a chance to have their voices heard live and direct on air will get a chance here. All you have to do is reach out to us in an email, and we'll make something happen for you. With that being said, I just want to thank you guys and say this, man. The opinions expressed here will only be expressed here. There ain't nowhere else you're going to get the opinions the way we express them here. It's just something about the dynamic that us three guys, these three dudes that you see on the screen, when we get together, shit happens, goddamn it. I'm telling you straight up. Put a bag of M80s, firecrackers, and a bottle of Richards and any goddamn thing in the bag, light that shit on fire, you might see anything happen. Next week, we could be talking about fucking UFOs and what we think about the conspiracies in the world. We just felt like tonight was a good night to talk about what we talked about tonight. You know, some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about in the near future and talking about future shows. I'm sure me, FFG, and whoever else is going to do a game preview before Monday. We'll do a show on that. So we didn't get into all that tonight because we had to talk about, you know, some of the coach musings and, you know, all the stuff that comes with that, the GM getting in the way of what the president getting in the way of what the GM should be doing. We had to talk about all that stuff tonight and the moves that we made that I'm particularly happy about because we needed some power into our lineup, offense and defense. But, you know, we are where we are. You know, we only got 4 wins on the season and we only got 4 games left in the season and we got to deal with it, man. And, you know, I don't think complaining about it does a whole lot. I think the fact that I think Tripp said this, and I'm so glad that he did, dude, straight up, what you said about the idea that this might not be a situation that remains in Chicago, it's the possibility is there, you know, and I'm going to hold my own particular responsibility in the matter, myself individually as a fan, and say that maybe I can do different. Maybe I can react different when we do these podcasts and not turn it into a whole complaint fest. You know, I don't know what it's like on George McCaskey's side of doing this shit. I really don't. I don't know what it's like for Ryan Poles. I don't know what it's like for Matt Eberflus or Kevin Warren. All I know is I played football and I know what it's like in the locker room. And I can tell you from a football player's perspective, looking at this organization from a distance, I don't want shit to do with it. And this is currently as it exists. This is a shit show of an organization based off how people view this thing from the outside looking in. And you got the free agent market that's coming up, Trips and Kedz, that is going to be huge for our salary cap. Getting people in this building and making this team into a winner is going to be huge in the free agent market. How this thing is going right now doesn't bode well, man. And that fucking sucks to me, man. That fucking sucks to me. I want things to change.
Well, hence the negativity.
Huh?
Hence the negativity, because, you know, while this is, you know, Chicago and people love to complain, you know, even if they win the Super Bowl, well, they could have did this, and this, and it's like, oh, yeah. But the negativity is the losing. You know, you keep losing, and it's like, fuck. And nothing will ever be right. There will never be cohesion. There will never be peace. There will never be love because of the constant embarrassment and the shit talking that we get from other fan bases, friends, family, colleagues. You know, it's like, you're Bears, you suck. And it's like, fuck you, sell the team. So, I mean, and it's been happens, you know, for how many decades now? So, I mean, I get the negativity and I understand the optimism aspect, but it's just hard being optimistic when you're in just such a shit show.
Very, very, very difficult. But one thing I notice is how people just rave to podcasts that they know that are going to be absolutely negative the entire show. That's just what I want to do. I want to rage and I want to be a fucking fool and talk shit and just be an asshole in general. And I know this podcast that's what they do over here. I'm going over here. I'm not going to tell you this is the place for you to be. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that, man, because I don't exist in that world. I don't, man. I'm not one of them people that wakes up in the morning and finds the first thing I can find the coffee too strong, or it's not strong. I mean, not strong enough, or oh goddamn, my ass is chapped, and golly, man, what's with this lotion? I don't find reasons to complain about things that happen in the day. I don't. I find the strong points in the day. The fact that I'm above ground and not the earth on me, dude, that's a motherfucker right there. And that's how I start the day. I get another crack at this shit. And I'm not here to waste fucking opportunities. And I think everybody, and that's just my opinion, everybody should see the world that way. And, I'm telling you guys, and I've been saying it, that this world is going to come down to frequencies. And where you lay in those frequencies is going to be where you exist. These frequencies, I'm sitting here talking, it sounds like a bunch of bullshit, this think, see, manifest thing. But as we move on, in the very near future, you'll be like, oh shit, no, man, you was on to something. Fucking right I was. It's because you'll find out where you're supposed to be in the very near future. Are you that negative person that just thrives off of that negativity and your mind can't conceive anything positive, and people are lined up with pitchforks, bats, and chains to be that kind of negative force in society? You'll find yourself there. And let's see what happens to you. Versus somebody like me that sees the light in the world. I see it. I see it very clearly. And, I might be a fucking fool. Some people might say that about me. I don't care. I'll be a fucking fool. But that being said, I'm just going to, that's just a little note I got from a wise person that I'll pass on to you. Be aware of where your frequency lies. You can keep it high, or you can maintain it low where you're comfortable and where other people keep you comfortable. That's exactly where they want you to be. Low frequency, fucking foolish. And talking and behaving in that way. That's exactly where they want you to be. You're their company. And I'm going to leave it right there. Just think about that. And thank you guys for being here one more time. Love you guys, you super maniacs, and look forward to the next show where we'll be previewing the game and talking about all that kind of stuff. But I just got to leave it with these famous words. People, if you can think it and you can see it, there's no reason in the world why you cannot absolutely manifest it. All you got to do is not be a prisoner of your mind. But that being said, we are out.